Oh shit. Wait, oh, that's why this looks so bad. Oh Lord. Hey, Hannah. The bathroom? Okay, give me 1 second. Hey DSV, how's it going, man? Give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna be. We're gonna get started in 2 minutes. All right. I'm just gonna help my niece with something real quick. We're gonna get started at 11 o'clock. I'm just gonna fumble around with Wordle in a couple of minutes. Oh, sorry about that, everyone. Hi Lee, how's it going, man? How you doing? Yark, Chris, how you guys doing? Hold on, I'm just starting to realize chat might not be pulling through. That's interesting. Let me pop up here for a second. See if it's not pulling through. Interesting. Oh, I was just thinking we haven't had that issue in a little bit. Romero, how's it going, man? Of course. How could everything go okay? Hi Lee, it's only my first stream today. Generally I try to do 2 a day, but the time that Easy got done was kind of a little awkward for me, so I couldn't quite stretch it out to make 2. So I just figured I'd just do 1 at the regular time today. By the way, does anyone know if everything's okay with Easy's relative, whoever was in the hospital? I think he said they were okay. That's good. Okay. Chat's still not pulling through. God, I hate this place. All right, give me 2 minutes. We'll get started at 11 o'clock or in 3 minutes, whatever time it is for you guys, rather. Give me 2 minutes to just see if I can get the chat working again. God, I just jinxed myself so hard. So stupid. How is everyone doing on this fine Easter Sunday? Or it might be Monday morning for you now. I guess theoretically it could also be Sunday afternoon, but I don't think there's too many people on the West Coast. Let's see if that works.
Les flocons de neige qui brillent dans le ciel nocturne me réconfortent. Je t'attends seul dans le
Unhinged, how's it going, man? Try place. No E, but good guess. Easter was pretty good. Easter was pretty good. Spent some time with family. Oh, that's actually a pretty good guess. PAXC. No. Parse? I feel like parse is it with a SE? Oh, it's with a SE. That's why. Okay, so, well, that's good. Confirm something. CA. Patch. Nailed. Good stuff. Okay, yeah, really sorry about why chat isn't working. I have no fucking idea. I moved nothing around this time, which is fascinating. But yeah, OBS just seems to hate me for some reason. Cycling through all of them, none of it fucking matters. This is great. God, I love this place. Patch. No, it's not unhinged. I can see it. I can see it's not there. It's irritating me because normally when it used to disappear, it was because I was fiddling around with some bullshit and I fucked it up. I didn't even do anything this time, just stupid. I'm gonna have to turn it off and on again. You know what, unhinged? Just for you, buddy. I'm gonna try that. And then if it doesn't work out, then we're getting started right away, okay? I don't care anymore. That ain't it. Yeah. Wouldn't believe it still doesn't fucking work. God. Alright, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, I think we're on 271. Did it work? Well, tell me, unhinged, is it on the screen? Well, you're gonna fucking lie to me, so I guess maybe not you. No, but no. I'm gonna find a different way to... I'm going to find a different way to pull chat through. Stream Elements is just killing me. I don't see it on the screen at least. No, no, it's not there, DSV. I don't know why, but... Yeah, okay. Sorry guys, so for tonight's stream there won't be, the chat won't be on screen. I apologize, just type everything we type, like live captions. Yeah, that is definitely the best choice. Yes, of course. You know what? Fuck reading, I'll just transcribe for the next 3 hours. Let's do that. Alright, yeah. Let's try to make our way to 300 as quick as we can. I'm going to try to go to 278 if I feel good and you guys are okay. We might run to 280, but that's probably more unlikely. So let's get started. 2 minutes late, but not bad. 19 Hope Street, Sherwood Borough. This area was located close to the Tussock River, which went through backland. Pedestrians could see the turbid but unusually wide water surface through the cracks and crevices in their house. Are you using the new... yes, I am, Romero. Thank you. The Daily Observer reporter, Mike Joseph, alighted the carriage and pointed at the 3-story grayish-blue building ahead of them. He said to Klein, who was standing next to him and wearing a black, double-breasted frock coat and a half-top hat, gold-rimmed glasses. That's the Golden Rose, the best legal brothel in the area in the area of the Backland Bridge, as well as Sherwood Borough. It opens at 3 in the afternoon and stays open till 2 in the morning. There are legal brothels. Interesting. And that definitely wasn't the case in Victorian England. That is the case in modern-day Germany, though. Why do I know this? No particular reason. Who are you to ask? The best legal brothel in Sherwood and Backland Bridge regions. In other words, there are better ones in these two regions, but they're illegal. Klein slightly mused and shot a glance at the entrance, which had an inlaid golden rose. It didn't hang any board signs. This doesn't count as a street girl, right? He answered without thinking. Of course, it's a higher grade. Mike personally led Klein to the front of the building and pushed the doors open. As soon as he entered, Klein caught a whiff of the mixed fragrance that was slightly pungent and heard a soothing yet suggestive melody. There's Big Red Light District in Amsterdam? Is it legal in Amsterdam as well, DSV? Do you know? This is going to sound so weird. Oh, God. Instinctively, he looked around and saw bouncers in black coats and half-top hats standing on either side of the entrance and in every corner of the hall. As a legitimate business, they were obviously meant to deal with drunkards and boors. The Golden Hall was surrounded by all sorts of sofas, chairs, and even a piano. In the center, there was a dancing area. Anything is legal in Amsterdam. How would you know, Romero? Have you been? Just get enough hush money? I feel like you're just talking about Sri Lanka, but you just changed the name here. Oh, for anyone that is interested, I will be taking a short hiatus from March, good Lord, from May 3rd to May 17th. I'm going to go visit my granddad in those days. I'm going to take my laptop with me. I'm going to see if I can stream. It won't be obviously as long or as frequent, but I'm going to see if I can stream while I'm there. So in the next couple of days, I might try to stream from my laptop just to see what it looks like and figure out some kinks, and then go from there. Okay, where was I? The Golden Hall was surrounded by all sorts of sofas, chairs, and even a piano. In the center, there was a dancing area. At that moment, there were many ladies sitting in different areas with their hair colored in gold, brown, pale yellow, or black. Some of them looked mature, some shy, some young and attractive, and others who were rather beautiful. These ladies were either enjoying the melody, giggling whilst in conversation with each other, quietly reading newspaper and magazine, or dancing with the men. It was only 3:30 in the afternoon, so there weren't many customers. At a glance, this place looked more like a proper ball than a brothel. Romero has a multinational drug connections added to the lore. A lot of big drug lords. But from my understanding, isn't everything legal or damn near everything illegal in Amsterdam, drug-wise? I thought they were pretty libertarian in that sense. If you come after 8 in the afternoon, you'll see some interesting performances. If any of the ladies catch your eye, go over and invite them to a dance, and then ask them for their price amidst the beautiful melody. If both sides come to an agreement, you can head to the 2nd or 3rd floor and have a wonderful time. As long as you're willing to spend some money, you can sleep the entire night. Mike turned his head from left to right, suddenly losing his previous calm and gentlemanliness, appearing a little more frivolous. Not the heavy stuff, cocaine, speed, amphetamines, etc.? Cool. He walked into the hall with a smile and approached a young girl who was almost 15 or 16. Is he showing his true nature, or is this a conduct of a professional? Klein watched, a little flabbergasted, as he subconsciously followed Mike Joseph. The victim, Cyber, was only 16. In theory, a girl of similar age is most likely to be a friend and would know more. At that moment, Mike lowered his voice and explained. He then raised his eyebrow and asked in a normal voice, "Which lady caught your fancy?" "I'm just your bodyguard," Klein responded. Mike nodded slightly and suddenly laughed. "I'm not used to being watched when I do that sort of thing. I'll stand watch outside." Klein understood what Mike meant. Without another word, Mike walked up to the young girl, bent down, and extended his hand, inviting her to dance. "Got any tips on breaking Snow Bunny mind control?" "Dr. Z, thanks for popping by. Snow Bunny mind control. Let me think. Other women. Yeah, that's a good start. Being a prostitute at this age, Backlund sure is bedazzling and dirty. To think that there would be a middle-aged gentleman of seemingly good bearing patronizing this place. Even the sides of his hair are white." Klein lowered his hands and stood very bright. After a few minutes, Mike walked back and said to Klein in a slight annoyance, "It's too expensive. God, broke bitch. Get good." "A lot of Red Bull, a loaded gun, and a tank full of gas. Are you telling me the plot of a Mel Gibson movie? What the fuck is happening here?" After a few minutes, Mike walked by. No, I already read that. As the two approached each other, he added in a low voice, "The girl knew Cyber, but the owner, Ma'am Lopez, forbids them from speaking with anyone else on the matter. Otherwise, they would be severely punished." God, when the punishment was mentioned, the poor girl even shuddered. I can only imagine how horrible it must be. "I don't want to cause, So, what are you planning to do?" Klein asked. "I don't want to cause trouble for those girls. I plan on going straight to Ma'am Lopez." Mike patted Klein on the shoulder and said, "Protect me. I'll tune in like an hour because I'm showing my brother the Phantom Menace." "Oh, sounds good, Bullseye." Klein turned his body to the side and said, "If we encounter a dangerous situation, you must listen to me. Do you understand? Listen to me." Okay. Mike raised his hands to his shoulders and nodded. As he spoke, he walked towards a single sofa in the corner. There was a charming lady with thick makeup and a gorgeous dress seated there. If you don't want to give up after dance and embarrass yourself in front of those girls, I suggest you talk to Ma'am Lopez first and find out the prices of different girls." Mike raised his voice. The lady heard their conversation and looked over. She slowly got up and smiled. "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Lopez. Did any girl catch your fancy?" "Yes. I really admire you." "I admire you too. You're acting like this is your home." Klein's mouth twitched. He said he's only doing a 30-minute stream. Okay. God, Unhinged is he's on top of this, man. I will say he's a very sarcastic man. I'm sure you guys have seen that study because it's all over everywhere, basically. But people who are very sarcastic generally tend to have like healthier minds, because it means like your synapses are firing much more quickly. You're able to come up with things much more snappily. So you must be in fantastic mental health, Unhinged. Lopez's expression froze for a second. Then she said with a fake laugh, "Sorry, I'm not feeling well today. You should know that there are times every month where women feel under the weather." Seeing that there was no way to get Lopez into a room for a conversation, Mike fell silent before suddenly turning serious. "Ma'am Lopez, I'm a reporter. I wish to understand more about the Cyber's matter. Here are my documentary proof." Lopez's face darkened. "I've already told everything I know to the police. Go ask them. Cyber was a vagrant orphan who was adopted by me. That night, she accepted an invitation from a guest to spend the night at his house, and she died on the way. All right, please leave, or invite a lady to dance." As she spoke, Lopez waved over two of her bouncers. Klein stepped in to shield Mike and escorted him back to the hall. Upon seeing this, the two bouncers didn't rashly chase him away. "We use humor to hide our pain." How old are you? "All right, please." Nope, I already read that. After a few steps, Klein said in a low voice, "She's lying." "Oh?" Mike turned his head. When she spoke, her eyes darted around. She didn't dare look at you directly. but she was also secretly sizing you up, which means she was lying and watching your reaction. In addition, her stance was highly defensive. She appears to be very agitated. Mike opened his mouth. And exclaimed after a few seconds, "You really are a great detective. Only with your keen observation and outstanding deduction skills were you able to discover such useful details." Considering he's in the army, I understand. Isn't he? I feel like maybe I'm misremembering this, but isn't he reserves? Don't get me wrong. Good for you for signing up, but you're in reserves. Let's be fair. He has to go to the army base like on 2 weekends a month. All right, he's fine. He's not giving him much. Come on. I'm so mean. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's only because I have my spirit vision on and I could see that Miss Lopez's emotional colors weren't right. I came up with the reasons after. Klein smiled and said, "Thank you. It's time to go." "No way you're 45. Unhinged isn't 45. I already got my paperwork. Getting ready to go active? Oh, good shit. Okay, never mind. So as soon as that happens, I won't be able to make as much fun of you anymore. Fuck. God. You know what? It's fine. You know what? Just stay on reserves. It's more fun for me that way." Oh, God. But besides, with the way the economic situation is looking, it looks more and more likely that they're going to ship you off somewhere because they need to show off their military might because economically they're about to get fucking ruined. Or Afghanistan, yeah. Mike Joseph looked back at Lopez and saw that she was walking towards the door on the side of the hall, as though she was going to her own lounge, and that side door was in the corner of the room. It was very quiet there, and there were many areas in the hall that couldn't see what was going on inside, and there were only two bouncers standing outside. We heard a rumor we might go to Saudi. Saudi? Relations with Saudi Arabia are really good. Really doubt they want to fuck that up because the oil situation would be way too shit to give up. Gotta switch to active before that happens. Interesting. Saudi. I can't think of any reason why. I mean, it could just be for like training drills and stuff, but I don't know. No, I don't have any answer. Yeah, trust me, you can. Okay. Sorry. Really quick economics lesson, okay? I promise I'm going to get back to reading in 1 second. Just really quickly. Economically, war never makes any sense, okay? It just sucks. If you're country A and this is country B and country B has oil that you want, instead of attacking country B with an army and spending a shit ton of money to get oil, which you then have to refine and shit and then get back here, it's a lot cheaper if you just fucking give them money and they just give you the oil. This is so much better. Economically, war just never makes any sense. And I know Trump is very stupid. He doesn't understand that, I'm sure. But I have to believe someone around him is like intelligent enough to understand this like most fundamental economics lesson. Now, if you are a country C who can sell weapons to country A and B, then it's profitable. Perhaps. Kind of. But then country C in this scenario, the problem is country C benefits, but then country A and B, but then country A and B both lose. So technically country C would want this to happen, but A and B would both realize that it's a plus for them, but a negative for both of these guys. So they wouldn't do it. And in this case, it doubly doesn't matter because US is their own arms manufacturer anyway. They make their own planes, they make their own tanks, they make their own guns. Like they just make that stuff. So it really doesn't make any sense. So Saudi Arabia in particular, like they have great relations with Saudi Arabia for decades. It'd be really fucking stupid for them to fuck that up for any reason, really. Trust me, Saudi Arabia is a great ally to have in the Middle East. So, I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that. But a quick economics lesson. At least you leave here having learned something. Military-industrial complex and all that. Okay, Devil, I'm not going to lie to you. I've never once in my life met a man who's said that three-word, compound word to me and known what the fuck that entails. Okay? I don't know. No, we love Saudi. Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably just training. I doubt it's anything else. Saudi Arabia is a great ally to have in the Middle East. It's their second best ally in the Middle East. Who's the first one? I'm going to leave that up to suspense. Most of you can probably guess it, but I'm not going to say it. All the best science happened in the 1960s. The country that does not benefit, it's the defense contractors that run the country. Technically true, Devil, but then technically that money still goes into the country, and those defense contractors still have to spend that money in country to hire employees, buy machinery, which then funnels back to the government. So kind of true, or not to the government, but to the people, which then circulates more in the economy. So it's still good for the country, but I get what you mean. It's just like another layer down. Yeah, sorry. First one is Greenland. Sorry, Devil. Yeah, I've just heard too many people, like when we, cause we used to have these discussions in like macroeconomics classes. Well, not in class, cause, people get too ass pained about it, but like after class, like, you know, some people who were relatively intelligent and competent could hold some kind of discussion. So we talk about it, and anytime anyone uttered that three words to me, I just tuned out of the conversation, because I was like, okay, this person just isn't there's no point. They just can't keep up in the conversation, and they just the military industrial complex. Like, okay, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, like, okay, whatever, get out of here. Wait, where was I? Good Lord. Where was I? Perhaps we should follow Ma'am Lopez and observe her reaction. Maybe the anxiety from just now will make her do something. Mike suddenly turned his head to look at Klein. Can you take care of those bouncers quickly? Sir, I'm only responsible for your protection, and that's against the law. I'll pay you more, a total of £5 based on the combat price from before. If there's another fight when we run, it'll be £10. You skipped a line, did I? No, I read this before. Liar. Deal. Klein reached out and shook his hand. Afterwards, the two of them circled around to avoid the bouncers from before and quietly approached the side door. Guests, please stop. Please, leave the area. One of the bouncers stepped forward and stopped Klein and Mike. Sorry, we'll immediately... Klein bowed down and apologized. At that moment, his right fist suddenly punched out, heavily striking the bouncer's abdomen in front of him. Liar. The bouncer instinctively clutched his stomach. His body bent over. As for Klein, who had just stood up, he raised his left hand and chopped the bouncer at the back of the head. The bouncer fell to the ground and fainted. His companion was clearly caught by surprise at this turn of events. He just stared blankly and failed to react in time. I have an urge to write a story about humans and how xenophobic they are to races like elves and giants. Like full-on Warhammer. What's that whole thing? Like, if aliens ever came to the Earth, we would show them why we were made in God's image or whatever. Like that whole bullshit. Yeah. The bouncer to his, yes. Klein immediately slid over and covered the bouncer's face with his right hand and punched his abdomen with his left fist. The bouncer suddenly bent down, spat out his undigested food, ew, and Klein promptly withdrew his right hand and chopped him downwards with his palm. At the same time, his left hand supported his opponent, allowing the bouncer to slowly fall on the ground without making a sound. Wow, that's so... Yeah, we were made to inherit the stars. Yeah, exactly. You may have been born into the stars, but we were chosen to inherit them. That whole thing. Adrenaline wasn't a myth. Yeah. My favorite is the one for Conquest. Oh. Oh man, I can't find it, but there's a meme with like Conquest from Invincible who's like standing there. He's like, when you find out that adrenaline wasn't a myth, yeah, the stars were promised to us. Wait. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's not the same one that I was imagining, but very similar. Years of combat experience, realizes he won't beat an 18-year-old hybrid of his race with a human. The indomitable human spirit wasn't a joke. Hell yeah, brother. If you had the chance to be one of the first colonizers of Mars, would you take it? Not if Elon Musk was sending me there, fuck that. But would I generally? No, still no. After exchanging looks, Klein turned the knob, pushed the door open to the side, and stepped inside. Mike Joseph lowered his body and quickly followed. Why are you so skilled? You're just a reporter. Klein lampooned under his breath. Why is he so skilled? You just did everything. What do you mean he's skilled? Am I losing my mind? Why is he saying, why are you so skilled? You're just a reporter. What did he do? Klein knocked out the two guys. Nah, Mars will probably suck. Dude, Mars would definitely suck. Ew, it's so cold. There's no there's barely any atmosphere. It just sucks. He's a clown. Suddenly they hear Lopez's voice. Tell Capim not to send anyone over for the next couple of days. Capim? Send anyone? Klein looked over at Mike and found him looking equally puzzled. At that moment, they heard Lopez's footsteps that were headed towards the corridor. Let's go. Klein tugged Mike and ran for the exit without turning back. During this process, he closed the side door and broke the lock in passing. It could prevent the people inside from coming out for a while. Then, as if nothing happened, they hurried walking through the hall and approached the exit while hearing faint, angry voices. After reaching the streets, Mike heaved a sigh of relief and said, I've experienced many similar scenarios, but not once was it as simple and relaxed as it was today. Thank you. I need to return to find out who Capim is. As he spoke, he took out his wallet, fished out a 5-pound note, and muttered, But frankly, your price is really expensive. It's worth more than half a week of my salary. But you can claim reimbursement for it, right? Klein asked with a grin. Aren't you afraid that Lopez will find your newspaper form and get the police to arrest you? That's a fake card, Mike shrugged. Klein could only admire him. Oh, look at that. But not counting that, I would face any challenge to help humanity and bring honor to my name. Alright, all for you, Unhinged. I would also pull pranks on the other colonizers and make them think aliens are real. Yeah, that's how you get yourself shot. Because like everyone else is sleeping in the space pod or whatever, and then you sneak out to try to make some noise, and then they just to scare them or whatever, not realizing that one of the other Americans brought a Glock along them, and they just get shot on Mars. Provoker, you sound like all the characters in our movie that died before episode 3, but I'm comic relief number 2. After watching Mike board the carriage and leave, he walked diagonally across the street and waited for a public carriage and kept an eye out for anyone chasing him. At that moment, a rental carriage slowly approached and stopped in front of him. A middle-aged man in a black coat stepped out from the carriage and nodded at Klein. He had blue eyes, a thin face, gray temples. It was the same old gentleman that Klein had seen in the Golden Rose. He's not a customer. He's just like us. Hello, I'm Detective Isengard Stanton. I'm assisting the police in this case. Can we have a chat? I remember him, Isengard Stanton. This is the, I made the joke that this was the Sherlock of this universe. This was the detective that Forz and Gio came to meet, and he cost like a ridiculous amount of money for like 30 minutes, and then spent like 10 minutes of that 30 reading their notes or whatever, and I was super pissed at him for wasting time. I remember this guy. Detective, a colleague. However, the fact that he's been able to assist the police in dealing with such a serious case shows that he's truly a well-known detective, or at least within Syllabus Yard. Syllabus. No, Civilus. Civilus Yard. Isn't the serial killer involved in devil worship supposed to be handed over to the Nighthawks, Punishers, or the Hive Mind? All the police department needs to do is send a few assistants, so why are they seeking the help of a private detective? Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to open my window. It's really hot in here. He dies. Yeah, the real Sherlock. Did you know Dunn dies? I unfortunately did. I wish I didn't, because I love my boy. But yes, I unfortunately do know that Dunn dies. Yes, the 11 serial murders must have caused a sensation. Civilus Yard is under a lot of pressure, and they aren't just willing to wait. Many thoughts flashed past Klein's mind, but on the surface he revealed a smile. All right. He boarded Isengard's rented carriage and saw a young man. This is my assistant, Isengard, who had a thin face and angular face, introduced. Please, have a seat. He didn't close the carriage door, nor did he let the carriage driver drive the horse forward to show that he meant no harm. Klein deliberately sat down uneasily and asked, "What would you like to know about Mr. Stanton?" Isengard took out a dark pipe and said, "I want to know what you've learned from following Ma'am Lopez. Did he hear or discover anything?" This. I'm also a detective, and you should know that we have confidentiality agreements. Klein deliberately replied as though he was in a dilemma. I'm asking you on behalf of Syllabus Yard. This has nothing to do with a confidentiality agreement. £1. How about £2? Having learned a lesson from his previous incident with Merceau, keeping together with the fact that there was no need need to keep it a secret, Klein replied without hesitation, "Sure." Hey, I'm not gay, but £2 is £2, all right? That whole thing. All right, Isengard smiled and took out 2 £1 notes from his pocket. Klein acted as though he was recalling something, but before frankly saying, "We only heard one sentence. Ma'am Lopez attempted to order a subordinate to tell Capim that he's not to send anyone over in the next couple of days." Capim? Isengard nodded, seemingly enlightened. Got it. You know Capim? Klein didn't hide his surprise. He's one of the most controversial magnates in Sherwood Borough, Isengard said with a faint smile. In Backland, innocent girls often go missing along deserted streets, and after a long time, they may be chanced upon in all sorts of legal or illegal brothels. A lot of rumors point to Capim as the criminal honcho filled with blood and filth on his hands, but due to the lack of evidence, he remains free to this date. Furthermore, he knows a lot of important people. Alright, Ramiro, if you rickroll me, I swear to God, I'm taking your fucking, mod powers away, okay? No, 0. No, I'm gay now. Hold on. Change my mind. Thank you, Sound. You made me logic my way out of it. Thank you. What the fuck was that clip about? That happened not too long ago and I don't even remember. What? What were we talking about? I'm so confused. What the fuck? Okay. If that's true, then this fellow should die 1,000 times over. Klein nodded, sighed, and said, "This is loan. This is Backland, Mr. Stanton. I wish you farewell." It's actually AI generated. I made it up and sent it to Ramiro. Yeah, I came out of the closet. Yeah, whatever. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. Whatever. What the fuck were we talking about? Oh my fucking god, I'm gonna have to go watch the... I'm gonna go have to watch the VOD after this. What the fuck? What were we talking about? No, this is gonna bother me. Thank you for your cooperation. Isengard got up midway as a polite gesture to send him off. By the way, your fighting skills are excellent. Maybe we'll have a chance to work together in the future. How should I address you? Sherlock Moriarty. Klein answered briefly and got off the carriage. Only when he boarded a newly arrived tracked carriage did Isengard Stanton instruct his assistant to close the door and ordered the carriage driver to head towards Helston Borough. We were talking about Leonard. Oh, I remember. We were talking about the assassin pathway. Oh, we got there. I see. Okay, I remember it now. Okay, yeah. No, that makes it a lot better. Thank you. Turning his head to the side, he looked out the window. The gray-haired elderly gentleman had put away his dark pipe, pulled out his brass ornament from his pocket, slowly stroking it in his hand. What the fuck are you sending me now, Ramiro? Good lord. Oh, taking one for the homies. Yes. Yep, that's what we were talking about. Yep. Thank you. Do you suspect the detective to be connected to True Creator? That seems like a very pointed question, Dr. Z, the kind that Ramiro would generally block, but no, not at the moment. I don't have any reason to. He just seems like a good old fella. I'm sure he's up to something. Maybe he's like a reader or something, or like of that pathway, because he seems very intelligent. Plus, he was shown reading a lot in that first meeting we had with him. Give us another memorable clip right now. The last time you said his book reminds you of the True Creator because it has an eye? Oh, Well, I've since been told that eyes generally have more to do with the hidden sage than that, but I don't know. So far, I don't have anything to go off of for the guy, so nothing for the moment. Yeah, vertical eye in this, but vertical eye generally does refer to the True Creator in my mind. I don't know, man. He might. I don't know. The appearance and getup of Mr. Moriarty from just now were a bit out of place. He wore very cultured gold-rimmed glasses, but he had deliberately grown out a beard around his mouth, making him look crude and barbaric. This is not in line with his, this is not quite in line with the norm. In this day and age, people who wear gold-rimmed glasses tend to take a lot of care of their image, the image of having knowledge and bearing. Maybe he's trying to hide something. Of course, it's possible that he's a gentleman with an unusual aesthetic sense. Isengard seemed to be talking to himself, but also seemed to be teaching his assistant. See, like, that's an intelligent guy. Like, he's walking through his, mental processes, and it seems very competent, like what he's coming up with. It's not just, doesn't seem to be pulling it out of his ass. That's an intelligent guy. At that moment, Klein, who had been sitting on the carriage, mumbled to himself silently as he leaned against the wall. That Detective Isengard is problematic. Ever since I activated my spirit vision, he had a blue color of rational thought and indifference, and maintained a purple color of spirituality dominance. There aren't many other colors of emotion appearing. Would you kill 5 people and eat their eyes in exchange for a sequence 9 potion of your choice? No. No, I would not kill 5 people. I am Thorfinn. I have no enemies. For normal people, unless they're wholeheartedly focused on studying a difficult problem, it's very difficult to maintain a similar state for extended periods of time. Other emotions will inevitably appear, the difference being the issue of how long they can remain in that state. Yes, either Detective Isengard is one genius at observation and reasoning, or he's a beyonder. The tracked public carriage had 2 floors as it ferried more than 40 passengers towards the Backland Bridge area. Klein gradually refined his thoughts and cast his gaze out the window and admired the 2 or 3 story building on either side of the road. I would do it, but it would be difficult to get away with. See, I don't even have anything to get away with, so I don't regret it at all. Oh, good lord. Occasionally he could see brown horses 5 or 6 stories high, a sign of Backland's latest trend and the kingdom's most advanced construction technologically. After a transfer, Klein arrived at the Iron Gate Street and got off the carriage opposite the Braveheart Bar. As it wasn't the peak period of the bar yet, the moment he entered, he saw Casper's drinking at the bar. He's reporting me to the police as we speak. Causing a gas explosion somewhere? I mean, that might work, but in my mind, when we imagine... when we imagine, like, killing someone, it has to be like a physical act that, like, I have to physically kill each of them. No? I mean, it may not be the case, but, like, in my mind it is. Interesting. Provoker, please don't go to another country with that. The old man with the brandy nose had requested for a glass of Langsky proof. His eyes narrowed in satisfaction as he savored the fragrance of the malt and the burning sensation in his throat. Damn, my first thought was causing carbon monoxide poisoning while they die. Dude, oh, that reminds me. This was a joke that someone said to me at a party, and I thought this was very clever. And I couldn't reasonably find a way I couldn't find a place that he would be wrong. And it was like, dude, people are always scared, like, oh my god, like, what if you die, like, of carbon monoxide poisoning? Like, you know, you just go to sleep one day and then you just never wake up. And it's like, dude, that's the best way to die. Like, there's no pain, there's no suffering, you're not, like, choking. No, you're still breathing, there's just no oxygen. 1 second, your brain just shuts off. And it was like, dude, that's, like, the best way to die. Like, why would you ever be scared of that? And I couldn't find a reason that was wrong. Like, that sounded perfectly reasonable to me. I'm curious your guys' take on that. Klein moved closer, rapped the table, and said, "Is Merrick here?" But, Dr. Z, from my understanding, carbon monoxide poisoning doesn't cause you suffocation because there's still air. You're still breathing. There's just no oxygen for your body to extract. So you don't even feel like you're suffocating. You just eventually don't get enough oxygen for your body to continue, and it just shuts down. Can't tie up all my loose ends. Oh, that reminds me of the Opera GX thing. Have you guys seen this? Brain thinks of it as suffocation? Yeah, but if you're sleeping, that part of your brain just won't ever wake up, no? But again, I mean, you would know a lot more than me. Opera GX death feature. After your death, the browser will clean up your browsing history and replace it with an embellished version of your internet travels. If you don't open Opera GX for 14 consecutive days, it replaces your history. I just thought that was very funny. Brain thinks of it and shows similar symptoms. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool. I was under the impression that you just don't feel it, but okay, never mind. Okay, in that case, shitty way to die. Victims tend to tear their shirts open and leave nail marks on their necks. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Please stop telling me more. At the same time, he had one hand in the pocket as he gripped Azek's copper whistle, using his spirituality to shield its negative effects. Before he finished his sentence, he felt gazes sweep upon him. It was evident they were observing him. By the time he finished asking the question, the gazes moved away from him and focused on Casper's. The old man with a huge scar on his face opened his eye, and when he saw that it was Klein, he said in a bad mood, He didn't come yesterday either. he didn't come, Klein let out a breath of relief. He no longer used his spirituality to rap Isaac's copper whistle. When I mentioned Merrick, someone looked at me. When they heard that I was looking for his whereabouts, the gaze shifted again. Someone's looking for Merrick. Klein resisted the urge to turn his head and observe as he analyzed the abnormality. Combined with an original doubt of his, he felt that the question now had a general answer to it. I was puzzled last week why a Sequence 5 Miss Bodyguard would accept a 3-day protection mission for £1,000. This isn't to say that the price was too low, but rather someone of that level already counts as a powerful person. In the Church of the Goddess, she'd be qualified to be a deacon or a diocese bishop. If she can gain the favor of a holy artifact, she can even compete for the position of an archbishop or a high-ranking deacon. But those who are already asleep feel the pain but don't have the physical capability to do any of that? Among the various secret organizations and intelligence agencies, Sequence 5 also implies the person that would be in charge of a borough, but at least the number 2 or 3. Even if a Beyonder who isn't part of an organization, even if it were a Beyonder who isn't part of an organization, a person with such strength would be able to establish a small organization of their own. No matter which point of view it was from, Miss Bodyguard could enjoy tributes from her subordinates, so there was no need for her to personally take the job. At the same time, I thought I had most likely hired a Sequence 6 security guard who would be able to last a little longer against the expert sent by Bakerland, creating the chance for me. But who knew Miss Bodyguard would be so terrifyingly strong? Hold on, I'm going to change this font. This font is fucking annoying. I don't like this. Let's do modern. This is better. Kind of, actually. Humanist? This is better. I like humanist. Judging from today's events, Miss Bodyguard and Merrick are probably similar to me. Their identities are sensitive, and they have to hide away. Yes, their situation might even be worse. They have to constantly worry about being hunted down. To be able to hunt Miss Justice, even if that organization doesn't have any high Sequence Beyonders, they must have some holy artifacts or multiple Sequence 5 members. Of course, this is just a hunch. Perhaps it has to do with the exposure of Merrick as a Beyonder, and now he is targeted by the hive mind. After some thought, Klein said with some regret, "Is that so? I was planning on playing cards with him." Upon hearing something that didn't match Klein's usual manner of speech, Caspers was alarmed. He chortled and said, "I'll be having a card game tonight. Texas, do you want in?" "No, I just want to play till dinner. I think I'll just head home." Klein sighed and left the bar without ordering anything. He intended to ask Caspers about the Beyonder meeting, but in that situation he had abandoned the idea. I'm dyslexic, so I always put the font size on maximum. I'm not dyslexic or anything, but my, relatively speaking, my table is pretty wide. So, like, I moved the font size up a lot, because, yeah. Where was I? In fact, he should have just gone to the card room or some relatively sealed area to talk to Caspers, just to be safe. He decided to wait until the next time. Klein was in no hurry to return home. Instead, he went to the one-bedroom apartment he rented in the East Borough and started divining above the gray fog to confirm no one was following him. Actually put them very small. You shouldn't, Ramiro. It puts extra strain on your eyes. Like, I'm not saying make them massive or whatever, but keep them a decent size. You don't want to strain your eyes for hours, especially someone like you who's at his screen a lot. Like, I had perfect vision all the time growing up, and then at like 20, so like 2 years ago, or maybe even a year ago, I started having nearsightedness. So like I can see fine close up, but like far away I tend to have problems now. And I figured out, I was reading about this. Apparently the reason that happens is because and like people who have nearsightedness, spend so much time reading or like doing stuff close up that your eye literally becomes more adapted to be able to capture light that's coming from a closer angle than a further one. So it's not even like I've worn glasses since grade 1. Okay, well, fuck me, I guess it doesn't matter. But apparently the reason it happens is it's not like a bug. It's technically a feature. Your eyes are adapting to what you do most, which is view light from a close angle, which I thought was really cool. I mean, shitty for me, but I mean, you can get LASIK. I mean, I plan to in a couple of years. I don't want to right now, but then there's a part of me that's really scared in the chance that it fucks up and I fuck my eyes up forever just because I didn't want to wear glasses. So, no. I know I should have done sniper training since. Where was I? After easing his mind, he reached Minsk Street before it was completely dark and found all sorts of subscribed newspapers crammed into his mailbox. I was in a hurry to leave this morning, so I didn't have time to read them. At the Quelaag Club, I had a good meal after shooting practice and took a nap before being forced to play a few rounds of tennis with Talum. My skills aren't good, but my physical fitness makes up for them. He mumbled silently as he opened the door and went inside before twisting the gas lock. He brought the newspapers into the living room, sat on the sofa, lit the wall lamp, and started reading. He first read the Backland Morning Post and immediately flipped to the first page and saw an advertisement from the Ernst firm, purchase of goods. They were 7 pence per litre of flour, solai of butter, 6 pence per pound, 1 solai, 3 pence per pound of cream, 8 solai per pound of Marquis black tea. So this is 7 heavy knocks, 1 light knock, 6 long pauses, and 1 small pause. The rest of the numbers are meaningless. LASIK is one of the best things humanity has achieved. Yeah, again, that's why I'm like, I know logically the rates of them messing up is like so small, but like it's doing the cost benefit analysis, so to speak, where it's like, listen, like, does it bug me that much that I have glasses? I mean, it's kind of a slight annoyance. I have to keep a pair in the car when I'm driving, and then I have to keep a pair by like my TV because my TV's far away, and then I don't ever wear them other than that, and it's pretty good. And if I get LASIK, I get rid of that, which is great. But in the 1 in, let's say, 1,000 chance they fuck up and I like go blind or some shit, which is just fucked. So it's like, it's doing that cost benefit analysis of figuring out if that's worth it, right? Nah, the best thing humanity has achieved is pizza. I would, call me crazy, I would feel like going to the moon edges out pizza. It's close, but just me, okay? In other words, there would be a Beyonder gathering in the same place at 8 in the evening tomorrow. The code to the door is to knock 7 times heavily, 1 slightly, 6 long pauses, 1 short. The remaining digits are useless. Klein interpreted the content. I got the same fucking answer. Let's go. I'm as smart as Klein. I don't even have a Beyonder potion. Holy shit, 400 IQ. Klein interpreted the content, leaned back on the sofa, and began to look forward to the gathering tomorrow. He wanted to sell some formulas to see if he could buy the corresponding ingredients or items. Humanity never created peak like Lord of the Mysteries. It was obviously written by a cuttlefish. I'm sure you guys won't mind, but if I feel okay, are you okay if we just push all the way to 280 today? Because we didn't get to do 2 streams, which means I'm technically behind a little bit. And since there's exactly 2 weeks until I have to take a hiatus, I want to try to push as hard as I fucking can. Because if I'm averaging 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 180, getting 350. I mean, probably get to like 450 in those 2 weeks. I might be pushing it because that's averaging 15 chapters a day, 7 days a week. I don't know if I can do 7 days a week. I'm gonna try, but shit might come up, so I gotta, but that'd be cool. Again, the plan is now, if possible, to take my laptop with me. And then if I can do like short streams while I'm there, but I wouldn't bet too much on that, you know. You trying to finish volume 2 before hiatus? It wasn't a hard fast goal, but I mean, volume 2 ends at like 480 something, right? 285 to 295 need to be together. Bitch, fuck. Okay. Okay, this really wasn't the plan. Okay, then 481. I mean, we can push it. I can push plus author's note. Well, yeah, the author's note I'll just read off stream. That's fine. Whatever. In that case, this really wasn't the plan. I'm gonna try if I feel okay and I'm capable. Just push hard and fast to 284 today, right now. 284 right now, and then tomorrow morning I can do 285 to 295. Fuck it, we're gonna push hard. Ramiro, why would that wasn't a thing. That wasn't a spoiler. Fuck, I really didn't want to, but fuck. Okay, all right. Now we're putting the jets on, and we're not fucking talking about other bullshit. All right, we're let's get it. Yeah, fuck it. Hyping myself up to read. Yeah, let's go. Wednesday night, 5 to 8, in the alley behind Bravehearts Bar. Klein circled for a while based on his memories before finding the house with the candle lights. In that case, I must try as hard as possible to stop you. He was disguised today in a grayish-blue uniform, cap, and a beard so that no one could connect him to the guy who had tried to buy Black Snake's item. It would be best if Eye of Wisdom and the apothecary don't recognize me. However, a newbie who relied on his luck to become a Beyonder and was able to come up with several potions after a week would definitely be suspicious. Klein put his hand in his pocket, felt for Azek's copper whistle, the ordinary tarot cards, and the charms he had replenished. You should know... Oh, I should know when a volume ends? I mean, yeah, but that seems like... Okay. I'm gonna make that rule, okay? That we're not gonna call that a spoiler, okay? You don't delete someone's message for that. It's okay. We're not gonna call that a spoiler. Nah, that feels way too liberal a definition of a spoiler. That feels wild. His uniform was especially modified by a tailor. There were many small pockets with metal bottles filled with herb powder and extract essence. After taking a deep breath and slowly exhaling, Klein took out the metal mask that could only cover half his face and finished the first step of his disguise. Now, again, you can use your... I want to be clear. Like, you can use your... you can use your judgment. If someone came out and said, like, oh... yeah, easy ask that, so I did that here. Yeah. Again, like, different people are going to have different rules, and that's fine. But, like... And again, use your judgment. Like, if someone came here and they started typing, like, oh, volume 3 ends at 580, the volume 5 name is whatever, it's like, okay, dude, like, you mind? But, like, if I ask a question like, hey, when does it end, and someone gives me that answer, it's all good. Pointed questions should be the same, especially if they're guiding you to the wrong answer. Sure, yeah. Like, I mean, amongst you guys, if you know that, like, if someone, like, again, when you ask me that question, like, do you still think the Isengard or whatever is related to the true creator? Now, by you asking that question and Ramiro not deleting it, I know he's not related to the true creator. But again, like, but that doesn't give me any information. I assume he's also not related to Buddha, but like that doesn't give me any information, right? So it's all good. Like, I'm not losing any shit over that. It's all good. Sorry. Okay, off track. No. All right, we have so many chapters. We got to get through this. Fuck. After taking a deep breath, Klein took out a small metal mask that only covered half his face and finished the first step of his disguise. Following that, he used the clown's ability to control his facial expressions and physical tics as well as his gait, while numbing his facial nerves. He wanted to be vastly different from his previous self. However, I'm not sure what Eye of Wisdom relies on to recognize people. This is all I can do. If I was already a faceless, why would you think Buddha is not in Lord of the Mysteries? Good point. This is all I can do if I was already a faceless. But if that's the case, I would need to join such low-level Beyonder gatherings. Klein stood outside the door for a few seconds. He then raised his hand and knocked on the door. Almost without waiting, the wooden door was slightly pulled open and an eye appeared behind it. It examined the visitor from head to toe. Well, yeah, I was supposed to do 15 today anyway, so this wasn't the plan, but fuck, if 285 and 295 have to be done together, that either means I do a 5-chapter stream in the morning and then like 10 at night, which just sucks. I don't want to. So I'm not going to do that. Almost 2 or 3 seconds later, the door creaked open and Eye of Wisdom's attendant handed a hooded black robe to Kane. Klein maintained his emotionless state as he quickly put on the robe and pulled down his hood, letting the shadows cover his face. On the way to the living room, he deliberately took steps he wasn't used to and tried his best to eliminate the awkwardness. There was one candle in the dark and a silent room and quite a number of members at the gathering. Klein didn't choose a corner like the previous time. Instead, he sat on a high stool right in the center. Easy drop 10. This wasn't the plan, Hailey. You guys just keep doing this to me. I don't want to do this. Klein made In short, he wanted everything about his external appearance and behavior to be completely different from the previous 2 times, and it was precisely due to the ability, due to his identity as a clown, that gave him the domain of expertise, allowing him to reflect his body into his mind and gain fundamental control over it. The living room was so silent that it appeared frozen. Time passed by, and finally, Eye of Wisdom looked at the clock on the wall and said in his ancient voice, "Let's begin. We don't need to wait for our late friends." It's 12 o'clock for me too, Light. I'm so fucked. But this is what you guys make me do, damn it. Just as he finished, Klein immediately said in a hoarse voice, "I want to sell potion formulas. They are Sequence 9 Bard and 8 Light Supplement from the Church of the EBS. The former is 220 pounds, the latter is 450. My boss will be very... Alright, Dr. Z, just don't get yourself in trouble, okay? If you need to leave, no problem at all. You can watch the VOD later if you have time, or you've already read the book. It's not that important, okay? Just don't get yourself in trouble. This was the most suitable plan that he could come up with after much consideration. The Spectator and Telepathist formulas were related to the Psychology Alchemists, a secret organization that was still active in Backland. If he recklessly produced them, he might attract attention. At the Church of the EBS, and the Church of the EBS was blocked out by the Church of the Storm, so the corresponding Beyonders rarely appeared in Backland, and they could do very little. Although it was therefore, it was an extremely safe choice. The potion of the Seer pathway involved Klein himself, and he certainly didn't want to reveal his characteristics. After having experienced so many battles and watched so many battles with Beyonders, he gradually came to understand something. It was that high-sequence Beyonders of different pathways, had their own characteristics which didn't overlap. That was to say, each of them had their own strengths and weaknesses, and their strengths and weaknesses were all obvious. The strengths were indeed strong, and the weaknesses were indeed weak. Alright, Moon, well, I hope you don't have anything to do if you want to watch the stream, because apparently this is going to go for a fucking while. For example, the Spectator pathway lacked the ability to fight in actual combat, but if they were ignored and subconsciously misled, then no matter how strong an opponent's combat skills were, it was possible for them to die without knowing why. A clear example would be the Vice Admiral, who clearly possessed the mystical item Creeping Hunger, and had an overall combat strength of a Sequence 5, but he still died in a rather inexplicable manner. Most of this was of course due to Isaac, but one couldn't dismiss the role of a Spectator. Due to the fact that the majority of Beyonders below the high sequence had distinct characteristics and obvious weaknesses with weak bodies, if one could conceal one's strength and understand the situation of the enemies beforehand, it wasn't impossible for them to defeat someone stronger. In extreme cases, there was a very small chance of a Sequence 9 killing a Sequence 5. When has this ever happened? Of course, this was a perfect hypothesis, but in reality it was almost impossible. A Sequence 5 was already considered strong, and the corresponding Beyonder powers would be considered miraculous. Strengths, however, could effectively cover up weaknesses. but before reaching a sequence 6, it was very difficult to cause any effect on them. Spectators just in the background ordering Beyonder airstrikes, yeah. The only way Audrey at a sequence 9 could kill a sequence 5 was if she paid a sequence 4 money to kill a sequence 5. And that has nothing to do with the fact that she's a sequence 9. On the other hand, many of the Beyonders below high sequence were very afraid of being attacked by a group. Even if their opponents were all below their sequence, this was because once one became flustered, their attempts to avoid a fault would lead to a failure of another. Their weakness would lead to fatal outcomes. These problems were why shepherds were ranked first among high sequences. They were so all-rounded that if they combined and matched their Beyonder powers well enough, they would almost have zero shortcomings. Except the fact that the Vice Admiral basically was a shepherd because he had creeping hunger and he got fucking owned. Once I advance to sequence 7, I'll have all sorts of magical Beyonder powers. Then, even if I encounter sequence 6, I'll be able to contend against them for a while, and I might even win. If I encounter sequence 5, there might still be a chance of escaping. As his thoughts raced, Klein looked around waiting for someone to speak. If Bard and Light Suppliant can't be sold, then I can only go for the second best and consider selling Spectator and Telepathist. Well, Isaac is just him? Yeah, I get it. Fair enough. Where was I? Once I advance to sequence 7, I'll have all sorts of magical powers. Even if I encounter sequence 6, I'll be able to contend against them for a while and might even be able to win. If I encounter sequence 5, there's still a chance of escaping. As his thoughts raced, Klein looked around waiting for someone to speak. If Bard and Light Suppliant can't be sold, then I can only go for second best and consider selling Spectator and Telepathist. In consideration of Beyonder characteristics, indestructibility, and conservation, the formula of my own pathway definitely shouldn't be sold. The witch pathways shouldn't as well, as it would lead to many tragic cases. Whether it's instigator or witch, they're the type that necessitate committing evil deeds. Klein was a little nervous, but his face remained expressionless. Actually, I can consider buying it. At that moment, the chubby apothecary laughed. I can also accept another apprentice and give him these two formulas, making him specialize in praying for light to shine on my herbs. Perfect. How extravagant. His words broke the momentary silence. A man in the corner who had his hood pulled very, very low said, "Perhaps I can give it to my child. At least it's stronger than my sequence. Sequence 9, 200. Sequence 8, 400. If you agree, that's the deal." To be able to take out 600 pounds in one go means he's quite rich. That's enough to buy a house in Tingen. Klein pretended to think, then looked at the other members at the gathering and observed their reactions. Noticing that no one had the urge to raise the price and the other party's bid had just reached his bottom line, he said, "I'll tag on an additional request. If you cannot sell those two formulas in this gathering, you're free to do as you wish elsewhere." The man said sharply, "All right, Mr. Eye of Wisdom will bear witness." And just plant light. Apparently, dude. Again, if you think about it, Spectator is also so garbage. It's the same thing. Well, I guess, relatively speaking, compared to a fucking, light bulb, it's not that bad. So, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, this is way worse. Klein did not approve that the formula was real, but he didn't want to ask, as it would expose the fact that he hadn't participated in many gatherings. Therefore, he silently pulled up his robe and took out the two potion formulas he had written long ago and handed them to the assistant behind him. The attendant didn't walk to the corner. Instead, he went to the single sofa in the center and handed the piece of paper to the Eye of Wisdom. The old man spread out the paper and, without taking an extra look, placed it on the small round table beside him. He then took out a handkerchief, wiped his right palm, and from his pocket took out a ring inlaid with many tiny diamonds. The ring was complicated and exquisite in design. In the middle of the ring was a dark green gem that looked like an eye. Is this the fucking detective? Because he has a book that has an eye. Plus, this guy seems very intelligent. I don't like this. Low sequence and spectators are considered weak, but once you advance to mid or high... Well, yeah, of course. Once you advance to mid or high, then you get the power of imagination? That's fucked. Just by looking at it from a distance, Klein felt his head swell and his body turn uncontrollable. It was just like back when he was taking his math examination. Eye of Wisdom solemnly wore the ring on his right middle finger and then closed his eyes. It was as though he was preparing something. Because for everyone asking for Dr. Easy and Ramiro, they mentioned that his notebook has an eye, and they mentioned it the first time we saw him, and then they mentioned it again, and it mentioned this. And again, as everyone's been telling me over and over, there are no coincidences in Lord of the Mysteries, no matter how small. Why would they mention that eye on his notebook again, if they already mentioned it? Unless they were trying to prepare us for something. Suddenly, the emerald green ring on the ring bloomed with a resplendent golden color which was as bright as the sun. The Eye of Wisdom quickly extended his right hand and let the gem touch the potion formula written by Klein. The rays of golden light became purer as they eventually turned the holographic projection. Authentic and effective, Eyes of Wisdom announced in a low voice. He immediately removed the ring from his finger, not daring to wear it for another second. Maybe you're cooking, maybe not. His tone sounds like a notary. That I can neither confirm nor deny your kitchen skills. Okay. His tone sounds just like a notary. That ring is the most prized item in Mr. Eye of Wisdom's collection. Sealed Artifact 281. It emulates the power of a notary. Klein watched on thoughtfully, feeling a little covetous. That's a good word. After the notarization, the deal was quickly concluded, and Klein received a thick wad of cash, all in 10-pound notes. I'm back from watching Peak to listen to Peak. Hey, thanks for coming back, Bullseye. How you doing? After counting the bills 3 times, he didn't fold and put them in his pocket. Instead, he held them out in the palm of his hand and waited for an opportunity to spend them. He planned on observing for a moment to ensure that there was nothing he needed before speaking again to mention his desire to purchase things. At that moment, the apothecary looked around and said, "I've brought a few bottles of sedatives." He really brought it? I'd already forgotten about all this. In order to be different from his past self, Klein could only pretend that he wasn't around. After shouting a few times and seeing that there was no response, the apothecary muttered, "That guy didn't come this time? Maybe he's dead somewhere. Thank you for your blessings, asshat, but it's delightful that you failed to recognize me." The apothecary habitually asked for a spring of elves' marrow crystals again, but it was in vain as usual. Moments after he shut up, a woman whose face was completely shrouded by her hood said with 2 boxes at her feet, "I have 2 weapons with beyonder powers. Ooh, this might be the lady who sold the inscribed steel sword last time. My spirituality instincts as a seer tell me that she has another 2 similar items. Backing her is some sort of beyonder armament organization, right? Well, maybe she has an artisan behind her." And also, as a sequence 6 of the machinery specialist and savant pathway, Klein looked around with anticipation. He had agreed to give the son a beyonder weapon worth 500 to 700 pounds, which could effectively aid his combat ability. He didn't promise the specific type or characteristic. As long as it was something similar and could be used, he could buy it. In any case, the son wasn't picky. Sorry, let me change the music really quickly. It's boss music playing now.
Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright, just dance with
The woman in the the woman with the hooded face looked around and said, "The two weapons this time are really easy to carry around. One of them is a whip of slowness. It's a replica of a particular mystical item. It can create formless restraints, influencing your opponent bit by bit." 42. Fuck. Sorry. It can still be used for 2 years, 450 pounds, or the potion formula for Barbarian. Hold on, do I have Barbarian? That doesn't sound very familiar. I don't have this one. Barbarian. The whip sounds pretty good, and it feels like the spider silk of ability of the Demoness of Pleasure. However, it would also seem a little strange for a little son to use a whip. Klein said in a hoarse voice, "Can this invisible binding affect spirit-type creatures, for example, wraiths?" I have yet to learn it. Cool. Barbarian, said by Rando Lady in Beyonder Gathering. Formula worth roughly 450 pounds, assuming sequence 8. I'm gonna guess it's a sequence 8 because Klein was selling his sequence 8 of the Bard formula for like 440 or something. So it feels like it might be of equivalent value to like a sequence 8. Which for Ramiro, which sequence do I think it could be? Let's see. Not reader, not planter, probably not prisoner, not criminal, not hunter, not lawyer. Secret supplement. I was thinking warrior, but I already have that. It's called gladiator. Monster, maybe? Barbarian? No, that doesn't sound great. Maybe monster. Marauder, it can't be. There's Savant, it can't be. Spectator, death. I'm gonna go with monster. No, monster doesn't feel right. But everything else, I feel like I have. What the fuck? I'll go with prisoner then. I'll go with prisoner. I don't know. I'll go with prisoner. I don't actually know. I don't know. Because my only guesses are prisoner or monster, but neither of those feel correct. But I'm also basing this a lot that my assumption is correct that it's like a sequence 8 formula. If it's not, then there's a lot of formulas it could be. But whatever. It's fine. The lady shook her head slowly. No. Without waiting for any further questions, she continued introducing. The second weapon is called the Axe of Hurricane. It can raise the user's agility and running speed. There's also a 15% chance of inflicting a numbing effect to the enemy and a 5% chance of raising a bolt of lightning. If used in a thunderstorm, the chance of lightning bolt is increased to 50%. Whoa, this is perfect for the sun because it's always lightning over there. This is great. It's always lightning over there, so this is genius. 50% chance of lightning? Dude, in a gacha game, if you got a fucking if you got a weapon that gave you 50% chance of any effect, you'd be like, holy shit, we are selling this bitch on the free market and we're making infinite amounts of money. Anyone knows this? 50% chance of effect? Oh my god. That's like a rare knife in CS:GO. That's crazy. This has all been verified through experimentation and concluded through copious amounts of data. The weapon's effect can last for no more than a year, 520 pounds, or the potion formula to Barbarian. This is much stronger than the Whip of Slowness. If it wasn't for the fact that it only has a Beyonder effect for a year, it probably wouldn't be this price. right. According to the description of Little Sun and the scene I saw in the air above the Silver City, there are always flashes of lightning. The highest frequency is during daytime and the lowest is during nighttime. This is very similar to a so-called thunderstorm environment. If it's really effective, then this axe of hurricane would be a truly mystical item in the hands of the Little Sun. Each strike has a 50% chance of blasting out lightning. It would be absolutely formidable. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. Fuck. I said either prisoner or a monster, I guess. I don't know. I don't have another guess. Hold on. Let me try to see if I can get a better guess. Sorry, give me 2 more seconds. Fuck, we're gonna be here forever, dude. Holy shit. Not reader, not planter, maybe prisoner. Barbarian, prisoner, maybe. Criminal pathway. 8, known by its ancient name, Cold-Blooded. Modern name, Unwinged Angel. So no, that can't be that one. Hunter sequence. Our sequence 8 is already known. Lawyer sequence. Hold on. Lawyer sequence. 9 is known. 6 is known. 8 isn't known. But lawyer going to barbarian. That sounds pretty fucking stupid. Although I guess a lawyer going to sequence 6 corruption is also pretty fucking stupid. How does lawyer go to corruption? That's fucking stupid. You know what? Fuck it. It's already going batshit insane. We'll go with lawyer. Fuck it. No. No, I disagree. No, we're gonna stick to prisoner. We're gonna stick to prisoner. No, it's prisoner. Lawyer barbarian. That'd be fucking stupid. Lawyer and corruption go hand in hand. Then you need to find better lawyers, Ramiro. I don't know what to tell you. You've been watching too much Suits. I don't know. Flip a coin? Oh, that's a good point. Yes. Oh my god, yes. We should stick to this. We stuck to this last time and it worked out. Okay, so we're going to do lawyer is heads. And we're going to do prisoner is tails. Lawyer is heads, prisoner is tails. Tails. Prisoner. Look at that. Man, if this works twice in a row, that'd be fucking goated. Holy shit. If I got this right twice in a row, oh my god, it'd be an actual fucking seer. This would be crazy. Even if that doesn't work, looking at the most basic beyonder effect of the Axe of Hurricane, it's still quite a good weapon, and it meets the needs of the Little Sun. As for the problem that it can only be used for a year, that's not a big problem to solve. In a year, the Little Sun's digestion rate and the City of Silver's beyonder resources, as long as he has potion formulas, he should at least be a sequence 6 by then. At that point, he'll definitely need to replace the weapon. If this works twice, you're a monster? Oh, that's a good point. If the answer was none of the options, that would be hilarious. Oh my god, that'd be so funny. So this is like, this is like that whole thing of like, if someone said like, oh, you know, what do you call it? Well, there's either $1 million under my bed or there isn't. So it's 50-50, right? So there's a 50% chance there's $1 million under my bed. And it's like, hold on, that's not how those statistics works, bro. Chat, is this what they call streamer luck? Okay. Moon, if you're fucking with me, I'm going to be really upset, okay? In like 9 months or whenever I figure out whatever sequence Barbarian is actually from, if you're fucking with me, Schrodinger's million, yes, thank you. If I find out you're fucking with me in like 9 months, Moon, I'm going to be really upset, okay? I'm going to remember this. As his mind whirled, Klein basically determined that he was buying the Axe of Hurricane. At that moment, the apothecary muttered, "Is the axe easy to carry around? I feel like I've heard a joke, and it might be more appropriate to make a wrench." Say you can't sell stuff. Can't you sell stuff like revolvers with Beyonder effects? Now you'll find it much sooner. Okay, well that's good. Well then I'll definitely remember, Moon, if you're fucking with me. I will try my best to collect similar items, the woman emphasized. Collect. Alright, friends. Who are willing to buy one of these weapons? Please, make a bid. Before Klein could even speak, he heard a male voice say, Axe of Hurricane, 520 pounds. The woman waited for a few seconds before asking again, anyone else who wants to bid? Klein immediately added, 530 pounds. The man replied, 550. If he raises it to more than 600 pounds, I'm not buying it. I'll get you a new whip. With the definitive strategy in mind, Klein calmly said 560. He tried to make it appear that no matter what the offer was, he could add additional 10 pounds. At the 600 pounds he had just earned, was enough to put invisible pressure on the other party. Upon hearing the latest price, the man shrugged and said, "All right, it's yours." Klein secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Is there anyone else who wants to bid on the Axe of Hurricane? The woman asked again, but the room was silent. Sold! The lady no longer hesitated and handed the box to her right to the attendant. The attendant had the eye of wisdom. Holy shit. The attendant had the eye of wisdom appraise it before handing it to Klein. Money was handed over in exchange for the item. You said a straight sword will suit. I agree. A straight sword will suit him best. Listen. Fuck. Let me pull it up really quick. You're telling me you see this pretentious asshole using a axe? No shot. Putting away the remaining 4 10-pound notes, Klein opened the box and saw the axe that could be attached to one's back or tucked away in one's belt. Little son is not pretentious; he's a warrior of light. Hi, I'm not insulting him as such. I'm just saying he's a pretentious little fucker. He's not carrying no axe. Could be a holy axe? Well, then make it a holy sword. In its entire body was iron black in color, thick and sturdy with a sharp edge. In his spirit vision, it was clear that the creator had used a large number of spiritual materials. There were also many symbols and magic runes on the surface of the axe. They were embedded inside, turning into lightning and hurricane patterns. When Klein reached out to touch it, he felt a faint pricking sound. He nodded and placed the box in his lap. It can be exchanged for true root and juice of mistreant. My magic potion is only missing the spinal fluid of the dark, patterned Black Panther. I've made a good deal of money in the past few commissions, and together with my original savings and what I have left, I have 209 pounds and some change. The Beyonder ingredients to a sequence 7 are valued at 5 to 700 pounds. I still had to sell formulas for knowledge. Yes. I'll take the time to check on Leopard this week and confirm the progress of the bicycle. Klein stopped bidding and quietly watched from the sidelines. Later on, someone bought the Whip of Slowness for 480 pounds, and the Beyonder ingredient called Heart of Featherman wasn't sold because its price reached 1,600 pounds and no one wanted it. According to his knowledge of mysticism, Klein knew that this Beyonder ingredient would be classified in the category of Sequence 6. In the following transactions, more failed than succeeded. After all, most of the Beyonders who came to the gathering had a specific purpose, and wouldn't just casually waste time and money, or money and resources. They weren't like Klein, who bought a weapon, who bought any weapon as long as the Beyonder effects were good enough. I want to sell a formula potion. Sequence 9, Corpse Collector, 230 pounds. Towards the end, a man sitting in the corner said with a deep voice, What the fuck is even a dark patterned panther? I imagine this. By the way, I will add. I think it is absolutely fucked it's such a misgiving of humanity. The fact that I have to add animal, because if I don't add animal, this piece of shit brings me to the fucking Marvel character first. I think humanity should take a deep look at itself, given that that's the case. Okay. Corpse Collector. I remember that this potion formula can be found in the Church of Evernight, God of Combat, and the Numinous Episcopate. Okay, where the fuck does it have an illustration of? It was sent in the chat when I saw the statues of all of them last stream, maybe 2 streams ago. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm just gonna make sure that I have that information about which which secret organizations have access to that formula. Sorry, give me 1 second. Death pathway. Known by Church of Evernight. Numinous Episcopate. There we go. Sorry about that. We did a poll to see if we should send more art. We decided we won't send any more. Has an Nighthawk snuck in, or is he a member of the Numinous Episcopate who's trying to revive death? Of course, it isn't strange for low sequence formulas to be found in the wild. That isn't a huge secret. I remember old Neil mentioning that the formula for Corpse Collector involved a desiccated black-spotted frog. Klein controlled himself and didn't smile. He thoughtfully looked ahead and discovered that the potion formula for Corpse Collector was quickly sold. The potion formula for Sequence 9 is very easy to sell. Before, there was just a single Sequence 8 Folk of Rage formula that failed to close several times, while my light supplicant formula matched with Sequence 9 Bard and was sold relatively quickly. Is it bad that why do you think it's bad that I saw the drawings of the art of the gods? I'm curious. Yes, most Beyonders would collect Sequence 9 formulas if they have the money to spare. They can even give their children and students more opportunities, allowing them to choose a path they preferred. Under this premise, if a Sequence 8 formula doesn't have the foundation Sequence 9, they would have to wait for Beyonders who are attempting to advance. And there may not be one in 1 or 2 years. After all, Circle of Beyonders is very scattered, and most of the people don't know about the acting method. Fun fact, word-by-word translation for Nighthawk is actually something along the line of Night Watcher. I actually kind of prefer Night Watcher just because it reminds me of the Night Watcher from Game of Thrones. But Nighthawk is very cool too. Yes, they also don't know about the law of Beyonder characteristics, conservation, and indestructibility. Klein silently thought and didn't speak. After another 15 minutes, seeing that the gathering was about to end, he asked probingly, Who has the complete spinal fluid of a dark patterned Black Panther? Silence. No one spoke. Klein thought for a moment, then added, I will provide payment that no Beyonder would refuse. For example, the law of Beyonder characteristic in conservation and indestructibility. Unfortunately, I've already sworn to the goddess that I wouldn't impart the acting method to anyone else. I've already died once. I wonder if that oath is invalid. Klein forcefully retracted his scattered thoughts, but still didn't hear anyone speak. Okay, next, he deliberately made a shrug that he normally wouldn't do. The apothecary cleared his throat and said, I've brought quite a few of my own medicine. Take a look at what you want. It's not expensive at all. It's just a few pounds or even a few soli. And the lady selling beyonder weapons heard this and asked curiously, I want to know if the dangerous beast in the sewers has been eliminated. The apothecary snorted. You asked the right person. After saying that, he spread out his hands. I don't know either. Bro's a fucking Disney character out here, bro. After I got someone to make a police report, I haven't been to the sewers since. Bro, you're asking for a beating. It must have been hard for you to grow up so healthily. From the looks of it, it was very wise of you to choose an apothecary's job. Klein couldn't help but lampoon. The woman took a deep breath and slowly exhaled without saying a word. When all the strange medicine the apothecary had were sold, Eye of Wisdom announced the gathering was ending. He delegated Klein to be fifth to leave, through a secret passage in the basement. From the looks of it, Eye of Wisdom didn't recognize me either. With some relief, Klein took off his hooded robe and tossed it to the attendant. Then he walked out to the passage and skillfully circled around it. After confirming that no one was following him, he took off his iron mask, left a secluded street, took the box containing the axe of Hurricane and headed straight to the East Borough. There were no gas lamps on the Black Palm Street in East Borough, and after dark it was like an abyss. In a particular apartment there, Klein sealed a room with a wall of spirituality, summoned himself, and carried the axe of Hurricane above the grey fog. If it had been a little heavier, I wouldn't have been able to carry it with me, even if I had Mr. Isaac's copper whistle. Then I would have to switch to a sacrificial ritual. Klein mumbled, sending his thoughts to the illusory star responding to the sun. The world has sacrificed the weapon to me. You can prepare the bestowment ritual. City of Silver. Upon seeing the grey fog and hearing Mr. Fool's instructions, Derek immediately sat up and rushed to prepare. Oh my god, we're going to be here much longer than I anticipated. Fuck. Before holding the bestowment ritual, he silently took out his knight sword and made a few vertical slashes to ease his anticipation. Would it be a straight sword, a broadsword, or a great sword? Derek stopped himself, unable to stop himself from thinking, and subconsciously pictured himself using that powerful weapon. After a while, during the ritual, he saw the weapon that belonged to him. It was an axe. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the meme instead of me doing it. It's just funnier.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Now, could I have just said it instead of making you watch that meme? Perhaps, but to me, this is a lot better. Okay. Dear Mr. Fool, please tell Mr. World that I'll try to gather Miss Treant's true root and juice as soon as possible. After receiving the son's reply, Klein nodded indiscernibly and muttered to himself. From the looks of it, he's rather satisfied with the weapon. Even without the additional effects from the environment, the axe of Hurricane is still quite a formidable weapon. Great time to come back? Absolutely. To be fair, Derek is tall as hell, so him holding an axe should look more badass. Perhaps, but a holy warrior of God, which is how I imagine the sun sees himself, would much prefer a great sword, or a broadsword, or a short sword, or any kind of sword at all. It feels so much more knightly, you know? Craving some Popeyes now? Yeah, me too, but the Popeyes near me close at 10, which is fucking bullshit, but I can't do anything about it, so. moving on to drink number 2. We're on our tea now. Derek is definitely a nunchuck man. Holy shit, yes sir. You know, flipping that shit around, hitting yourself in the nuts. It's a quintessential male experience. What's this discrimination against an axe? I don't have any discrimination. I want to be clear. If you're a sequence 8 barbarian of whatever pathway, use an axe. It totally fits you, okay? But it doesn't fit the sun. He had passed the information regarding the Beyonder weapon's characteristics and limitations to the sun. He didn't describe it directly to avoid sounding naggy. He needed to maintain his image. After doing all this, Klein didn't stay any longer and returned to the real world, changed his clothes, and left the street. Eastborough, Darby Street, in a cramped but lively pub. Instead of wielding an axe, Derek should wield the grief of his dead parents. Yes, you know, he just talk no jutsus to the monsters. It's like, you know, like a undead monster's rushing at him. He's like, you can kill me, but the truth is, nothing could ever replace what I've done to my parents. Nothing could ever hurt as much as I've punished myself. And the monster's like, bro, you just fucking ruined it. Just kill me. I don't even want this anymore. God, you're annoying. And then he just does that 48 times and kills an entire fucking battalion of monsters. Gio covered her nose and mouth as she squeezed in. To her, what was bad about this place wasn't just because it smelled like alcohol and sweat, but that she would easily encounter people much taller than her. She had to face their armpits, and small odor was nauseating. You're cooked. You have 9 chapters left. Oh god, don't even joke. Maybe I lied. You know what? Maybe we might just leave it at like... No, because then if I don't, then I have to do 10 tomorrow. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I'm fucking cooked. Holy shit, man. Is Willis faltering? Absolutely. Using a great deal of effort and even using the powers of Arbiter, Gio finally squeezed her way to the bar counter and saw the man she was looking for. A relatively young man in his 20s, he had a face as long and thin as a horse. Jesus Christ. His eyebrows were messy and ferocious, but his facial features were relatively soft. He was gulping down alcohol and laughed loudly with the patrons around him. Williams, I have something to talk to you about. Gio banged on the wooden counter. This boorish action attracted many angry gazes. However, they all quickly retreated under the stern gaze of an arbiter. Gio, I haven't seen you in days. Let me see. It's been a week. No, at least 3 weeks. Care for a drink? Half and half? William asked. Half and half was one of the most popular alcoholic beverages in the East Borough, made from half malt beer and half fortified grape wine. Because it had precisely made up of 2 constituents of equal proportion, it was known as half and half. Are you really going to let me drink? No, he doesn't. The boss, who wiped his glasses, hurriedly answered on William's behalf. He clearly remembered how deadly the girl would become when she got drunk. She would use her fists to persuade the guests to quit drinking and throw them out one by one. Justin, possibly fucking 9. I got tricked. I'm so sorry. Who am I sorry to? Probably myself. I don't know, man. God. Actually, I should probably edit this. Oh my god. The corner of William's mouth twitched as he spread out his hands and said, "Go on, why are you looking for me?" He was one of the East Borough's informants and connected to several gangs. Gio frowned and said, "Williams, can't you quit drinking, save your money, marry a nice girl, and come home every day to hot water, food, and warm greetings? You can share all the things you've seen in a day with her, and you can tell about the trivial things that happened in your house. There'll be cute kids who'll kiss you on the cheek and play around with you. Doesn't that sound nice?" She was able to gain a quick foothold in Backland's East Borough, all thanks to William's help. Warmth? It's built on the money I bring back, and I've seen through the farce. If I could bring home 20 soli a week, I'm sure my family would be warm just as you described. But if not, Lord, the screams and insults from the women. The cries and shrieks of the children would drive me insane. My mom is a good example. Every time my old man comes home, he'll beat me up and make a ruckus. So if that's the case, I might as well use the soul line pence to trade for drinks. No one cares how much I earn here. Everyone drinks and everyone chats, and the mood is really good. If I want women, there are cute street girls outside, and they won't quarrel with you. Gio smirked and said, "You really are an incorrigible believer of the Lord of Storm. One day you'll die from alcoholism or some strange disease." "At least I've enjoyed life," William said. "I haven't worked in almost 3 days, so I'm not going to give you a discount." Gio stopped persuading him, stroked her short, disheveled blonde hair, and handed him a portrait of Lanavis. "Help me keep an eye out for this man. Find him as soon as possible. Here are different portraits." William spread out the piece of paper and glanced before saying, "He looks too ordinary, and he'll be hard to find in the East Borough. There are people who die at any moment. Some leave, some come, others are vagrants. It'll be hard to find him. In short, help me keep an eye out. Notify me if you find anyone who looks like him." Gio took out a 5 solai bill and handed it to him. "Here, some beer money. If you can find the person, I'll give you another 10 pounds. 10 pounds? Gio, when did you become so generous? Or is this person worth more? That's how much his reward is. 10 pounds for the clue. Don't forget about this matter. I'll come back in a few days." She had already run through nearly half of the East Borough and issued missions to the gang leaders and informants she knew, and she had paid several pounds in advance. "As long as one of them succeeds, I'll earn it all back. All those profits," Gio silently cheered, walked out of the pub with her nose and mouth covered. At that moment, the scene gradually turned chaotic due to some conflict between some drunkards. Gio glanced over and raised her voice and shouted, "Stop." A sense of domination reverberated within the pub. It was as though the drunkards had met their nemesis as they hurriedly sat down. Some of them even hugged their heads and squatted on the ground. "I wonder when I'll advance to sheriff," Gio sighed. On Thursday morning, Klein took a long trip to St. Georgeborough, which was like another city altogether, to show some concern for his first investment. With his last tip and the revelation from Roselle's manuscript, Leopard was making progress very quickly on the bicycle project and had already built a crude prototype. This was very much in line with Klein's impression of bicycles. Oh my god. Wait, it's been nearly... Hold on. Okay, we might not... Hold on. Okay, never mind. Maybe we just go to like 77 and then do a morning stream to get to 85. Hold on. At this rate, I'm going to be streaming to like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. This is fucked. Hold on. No, hold on. Holy shit, I just came to realize how much I said I would read. Fuck, no shot. 5 hours. I'm going to be streaming to like 4 a.m. Holy fuck, no shot. After a trial ride, Klein offered a few suggestions for improvements, saying that he would disburse the second investment payment this week, or next week. He expressed his hope for bringing in new investors as soon as possible so that the project could enter an industrial phase. Read it in a funny voice. Prioritize your health. If that doesn't, if those two messages don't describe the two, just make stream. No, I'm not doing that fucking long. No. If those two messages of highly and unhinged don't perfectly encapsulate the two different sides of chatters, I don't know what does. Justin, they said that I have to read 285 to 295 altogether, and then I got scared because I didn't want to do a 5 chapter stream in the morning. I don't know. I'm scared. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. Okay, we might just go to like 278 or something. And then go to 284 in the morning stream, and then go to 295 in the afternoon stream, okay? That might be better. This might be way better. Fuck. The only problem was that Leopard believed that he was the inventor and had the right to name the product. He wasn't satisfied with the term bicycle and intended to adopt the more popular term bike. Klein didn't care. At noon, he returned to 15 Mint Street. Before he could take off his hat, he heard a series of illusory pleas. Miss Justice, she has collected information on the abject nobles so quickly. Still in thought, Klein prepared to enter the living room and head to the second floor. Yes, Justin, I don't know why my chat's not working. See, that's another reason why I don't want to do 15 fucking chapters on a VOD that doesn't have chat working. This is fucked. So yeah, you know what, Justin, you're right. We're gonna do 280. We're gonna do 280. We're gonna do 277, and then we're gonna leave it there. Okay. Yeah. He's lying. Okay, it just didn't work. I'm gonna fix it before the morning stream. Okay. So that's a good point. Yeah, we're gonna go to 277, and then I'll fix it before the morning stream. Fuck. Yeah, this is crazy. I can't stream till 5 o'clock. I have to be up at like 10 to take to drop my niece, or like 9 to drop my niece off to school. I'd be fucked. Yes, I've seen all 3 easy. Hold on, I'm changing the title again for the 3rd time. 278. Wait. 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. No, we'll do 277. We'll do 277. Fuck. Okay. The 4 pathways pointed to... They didn't point to anything easy. They pointed to... Like, I mean, they all started from the place above the gray fog, but nothing beyond that, right? Am I misremembering? Hold on. The red moon? Oh, wait, did it? Hold on. Hold. Should be around here, right? Did I skip past it? This is trailer 3, right? I might have skipped past it. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I think it's back here. Oh, yes. Oh, you're right. Oh, holy shit. How did I miss this? Hold on. Whoa, they point to the red moon. Shit. Wait. Fuck. How did I miss this? Hold on. I've got to have something regarding the moon in my lore notes, right? Huh. Wait, what was the creation myth again? Let me pull this up. What became the Crimson Moon? I'm curious. Creation myth, LOTM. I might have. We might be cooking. Yes. Hold on. What? I'm curious. What creator's left eye became the Crimson Moon? Interesting. Oh yeah. Sorry. Don't go to the wiki. Yes. Sorry. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah. You're good. Dude, I am so glad Ramirez on top of things. I would be fucked. I would be spoiled in every regard humanly possible. His left eye symbolizes the moon and the wolf howling. Yeah. And the wolf howling, did I already mention this? And I don't know if I mentioned this in my chat, in our chat, but like the wolf howling thing makes me think of like Fenrir from the like a Norse mythology, which is like chasing the sun and the moon and eventually eating the moon whole. I don't know what that means in this scenario, but curious. I only looked at the Tinjin map through the wiki. The only thing I looked at through the wiki was when Klein digested all those all the potions and stuff. I don't remember any of them, thankfully. I just know, like, on average, it was like 130-ish chapters until Klein fully digests a potion. Which means by my calculation, we should be reaching sequence 7 Magician very quickly. You sent? Oh, thank you, Miro. Let me look. The creator awoke from the chaos. Sorry, let me just pull this up. This is probably just easier this way, if you guys can see it too. The creator awoke from the chaos and shattered the darkness, creating this first ray of this light. He then fused himself completely into the universe and made up all of existence. His body became land and the stars. One of his eyes became the sun, while the other became the crimson moon. That's the moon, but that's also the symbol of the Evernight goddess, and also one of the fogs. What does any of this mean? Alright, but now I'm gonna let you go. Alright, thanks for popping by, Easy. I appreciate it. I hope whoever you visit in the hospital's all better, man. Tangent interactive map. Oh, holy shit. Thanks, Romero. Can't believe. Okay. Let's get started again. No, not this. Not connections. Piss off. Alright, let's go. They've been discharged, so all is good. That's good to hear, man. Alright, that's good. Well, I'm taking a hiatus in like 2 weeks or so. I'll click the link on the map. Oh, sure. I'm taking a hiatus in like 2 weeks for a little bit. Before then, if we have some time, we'll see if we can have another chat if you're free sometime before then. I should be a lot closer to where you are by then, and then it'll be a lot easier to have a chat. Because as I was reading more and more, a lot of what I was talking about got confirmed, like some of my theories, and I was just thinking, I was like, dude, it must have been so difficult for you to have that conversation, because I'm talking about like shit that's like really wild for me, and you're sitting there having it confirmed, and you're like, I can't say anything. Whoa, what the fuck? Dude, this is so cool. Yeah, fuck you, Unhinged. Full screen? Ah, interesting. Okay. Okay. Whoa. This is so cool. Sorry, we're not gonna spend too long here, I promise. Fuck, I gotta eventually finish reading at some point. Jesus. Do you feel trust? I got easy with the tension lie. Yeah. Herod's Divination Club, but Welch's residence? So, Bonaparte residence. So where the fuck, where's their house? Old Moretti residence. New Moretti residence. Ah, so they didn't move too far. This is about what I would have expected. Man. All I can think at this moment is like, Tingen now, like looking at this, feels so much bigger than like it felt in the moment. I found it right here. Feels so big. It feels so big looking at it now, but like as they were explaining, it felt so tiny. It felt so like cozy and stuff. And now he mentions like, oh, each borough of Backland is about the size of Tingen, and there are several boroughs that are like twice the size of Tingen. This place has got to be fucking the GTA 6 map. This motherfucker's just never ending. Divination Club. Oh, what the fuck? Blackthorn. My God, this motherfucker was making a trek every morning. Get all the way over here? All saved by the Nighthawks. We are a bunch of miserable wretches. Shooting club. So wait, oh, and the divination club is over here? So his hold on, hold on. Sorry, one more quick thing. What was the name of his fucking physical instructor? Ray Bieber's house. We're gonna get Lord of the Mysteries anime before GTA 6. That's well, we don't know when GTA 6 releases. Is it? It's 20. No, well, yeah, it's 2026 release, right? Is it 2026? No, it's fall 2025. Oh, but it's fall. No, so technically summer. yeah, I guess technically, yeah. Koi University. Gawain. Yes, thank you. Where the fuck did Gawain live? Where was this motherfucker? Madam Sharon. My lord, she lived in a posh part of town. Look at how big this fucking place is. Joyce Mayer. Azek. Holy shit. Azek was swimming in money. Assuming Rockstar didn't delay it. That's true. Woods Mansion. Ivers Public School. River Seek. Opera House. They were supposed to go see the opera. City Library. Tinnen City Hall. I'm trying to see if I can find Gawain. I don't even know if he's on here. I'm just curious. He may not be. He very well might not be, for the record. I'm just curious. I'm curious to see what this motherfucker's daily routine looked like. Yeah, I don't think Gawain is on here. Mr. Frankie. Shots, whatever. Tracy. Council, Deweyville, Gusev, can't take a delay, man. It's been 12 years. Dude, it's actually wild. But again, Rockstar has never... Rockstar has never not delivered. On a full release. Yes, they've given us some doozies with some fucking remasters and bullshit. But like, with a full release, I can't ever remember them... Yes, I figured you lied about Magos' house. Unhinged. Yeah, I don't think he's on here. Whatever. But oh, this is really cool, Romero. Thanks for linking this, dude. Really appreciate it. Dude, that is dope as fuck. I might just play around with that later. Man. Like, again, Rockstar has never not delivered with a full release, at least in my mind, that I can remember. So, if they're taking the time, I'm going to say, like, hey, do good with it. Like, my probably second, maybe third favorite game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. I could play that game for eternity. Beware the wiki, though? Yeah, of course. I adore that game. Arthur is among my favorite fictional characters of all time. Actually, Disney's buying Rockstar. Oh, fuck you. Oh, yeah. At that moment, he heard the doorbell, and when he opened the door, he saw Julianne, the maid from the Sammers next door. Mr. Moriarty, Mrs. Sammer would like to invite you to Sunday luncheon. There will be a lot of neighbors attending, the maid said as if she was reciting something. After his return last night, Klein had handed the portable camera to Mrs. Sammers and exchanged a few words with her, but he hadn't received an indication of a luncheon. That's right, according to the magazines, the middle class wouldn't invite anyone to an event in person, but instead they formally sent their servants or maids to send an invitation. This is in line with Mrs. Sammer's style. Klein was puzzled at first before he immediately came to realization, so he promised to punctually attend. Who wouldn't want to have a free lunch? And Mr. and Mrs. Sammers aren't difficult people to get along with, as long as you don't mind their showing off. He watched as Julianne leave. He closed the door behind him and walked towards the stairs. He scanned his eyes slightly as his eyes scanned the slightly messy living room, dining and kitchen. It's been a few days since I've cleaned up. I'm a bachelor, so it's not bad that I'm able to maintain a level of tidiness such as this. I have too many secrets, and I might even suffer an attack. It's not too good to just hire an in-house maidservant. Yes, I should discuss this with Mrs. Sammers and for Sunday and ask her to send the maid to clean up once or twice a week. And I'll pay for it. Many tenants and landlords have similar agreements. Klein calmly walked into the bedroom on the second floor and drew the curtains. Did you send it right now, Ramiro, or did you send it a while back? Because I have seen Art of Mrs. Sammer. But if you sent it right now, I just haven't seen it. Oh, layout? Thank you, Justin. A while back? Yeah, then I've seen it. Yeah, all good. Mrs. Sammer is very pretty, for sure. After entering the Frog, he found a prayer that had indeed come from Miss Justice. The girl of blue blood sat on a piano stool, her hands on the keys. She wasn't playing. Instead, she was whispering a honorific. I've gathered the information regarding the abject nobles. I'm requesting permission to hold a sacrificial ritual and seek your help in passing it to Mr. World. That's quick, as expected of a professional. Audrey, who had just returned from the Royal Coat of Arms office and experts in the field, completed the sacrificial ritual with little unfamiliarity as she threw the thick manuscript into the illusory door. I'll pass it to the world. This time he was in no hurry to return to the real world, so instead he flipped through the manuscript and found the part pertaining to the Pound family. Pound family had indeed obtained the title of Viscount from the Battle of the Violated Oath. After that, they were loyal to the royal family, but had quite a bit of power in the army and their own fiefdom. However, 32 years ago, two of the family's heirs died from a serious illness, one after another. At that time, the old Viscount had no choice but to bring the child of a distant relative home. Not long after, the old Viscount passed away. As the child was still young, under the enticement and instigation of the servants, he changed the butler and turned foppish. Foppish, concerned with one's clothing and in an affected and excessive manner. So what Batman became. In just 8 years, he had lost most of their fortune and reduced to a baron. Even the family's house in Backland was sold. In the years that followed, the title was reduced again to that of a baronet. Died of serious illnesses. Their corpses are probably nowhere to be found. They should all be in that innermost room in the underground structure, under the bloody door. The old Viscount must have deliberately concealed the matter, preventing the royal family, military, or churches to investigate. From the looks of it, the Pound family must have discovered the underground structure from the Fourth Epoch about 30 years ago. Perhaps the underground secret door was built by them, but there are more than 2 corpses in that room. There were others who had entered in the ancient times to probe the area. Well, I'll have to talk to Baronet Pound in a way that won't reveal my identity. Klein stopped thinking and looked at the last paragraph. Baronet Pound, currently living at 29 Civilis Street, Empress Borough. Civilis Street. Is that the same street that Why do I know this name? Is that where the brothel was? Where is this? Yeah, 2 more chapters is good. This and 1 more, because I'll be done at like near 2 a.m. and fuck me, I'm not reading till like 4 a.m. That shit's fucked. By the way, just to confirm, you guys the stream's going okay? Because on my preview menu, it's just showing a big fucking loading screen for the past 20 minutes. The stream cooked? Oh shit. Is it? What's happening? Something wrong? It's alright. Alright, we're gonna keep going. Fine for me. Alright. We back. Alright, good stuff. Civilis Prefecture was located on the west of the Lone Kingdom. To me it is. Fantastic. No problem. It's fine. Thank you guys. Across the Hornisus mountain range from the Intis Republic and in Backland, there was a street named for it, on the edge of the Empress Borough where the headquarters of the Captain Police Department was located. Many people chose to settle down here for the peace of mind, and Rafter Pound was one of them. The Baronet stood by the closed window in his warm activity room in Unit 29, in his cotton-quilted pajamas, staring diagonally across the street at Civilis Yard. He was in his early 40s, but the sides of his hair had turned white. He had puffy eyes and clear wrinkles on his face. His body constantly emitted the smell of alcohol. On the floor behind Rafter lay some torn lingerie, and opposite it was a burning fireplace. The Baronet raised his glass and gulped down the rest of the liquid in it. Then he slowly walked to the door and returned to his bedroom to get some sleep. As there was no pipe to transfer the heat from the fireplace, he felt the bone-chilling chill of late autumn as soon as he left the activity room. Damn it, Rafter Pound cursed under his breath as he staggered to the bedroom and twisted the handle. The bedroom was dark, and only a faint crimson glow shined in. Rafter was about to close the door behind him and collapse into bed when his eyes suddenly froze. A figure was quietly on a chair beside the curtain. The figure wore a pair of grayish-blue pants and a cap. Fucking... he just snuck in, didn't he? The entire person was hidden completely in the shadows. Sensing Baronet Pound's gaze, the man slowly raised his head and looked over. His face was painted red, white, and yellow, looking like the funniest clown. I feel like right now he's just going to fully digest the potion right now, because this is the last little bit. Rafter was about to shout and run away when he saw a revolver aimed at him and heard two deep and hoarse sentences. I advise you not to do anything unwise. If you cooperate, I won't harm you and won't take any belongings, if you have any left. Rafter Pound's expression changed a few times, and he very obediently closed the bedroom door, then half raised his hands and sat down at the edge of the bed. Client fell from a secret police to a home invader? What do you mean by fell? I think it's damn obvious what he means, man. What do you want from me? He hiccuped in his drunken stupor as his body trembled. Civilis Yard is just a street away. I know, but I think I'm much closer to you than they are. Disguised as a clown, Klein changed his voice and tone and warned, and my purpose is just to ask you a few questions. Before he came to Civilis Street, he had divined if there was any danger in making the trip in the mysterious space above the grey fog, and obtained an answer that it was very safe. Questions? Rafter's lips trembled as he laughed bitterly. Here we go again. Am I never going to escape this nightmare? Have there been many people coming to you with questions? Klein asked. No, not only questions. After my uncle, the Honorable Old Viscount, passed away, too many things have happened to me. The amiable old butler resigned for no reason and just vanished. Those servants and maids would change one thing after another without warning, becoming unfamiliar and cold. They were looking for something. Yes, they were looking for something. I wasn't even 10 back then. All I could do was watch, and I didn't dare tell anyone. I was afraid that I would never wake up again. Rafter replied as though he was on the brink of collapse. He was just a fucking kid who got taken advantage of. Damn, I thought he was just an asshole. Looking for something? Were they searching for the underground structure or the treasures of the Pound family? Such as Beyonder characteristics and mystical items. The royal family and churches must have realized this, as the higher-ups must know about the law of Beyonder characteristics, conservation, and indestructibility. They have to find a way to fucking shorten this. This is killing me. Oh my god, I've read this like 9 times. This is 18 words. What the fuck? Since the Pound family was in ruins, these things should have been taken back, right? Unless the old Viscount paid a huge price and bought some other rare beyond her characteristics and mystical items of the same sequence to conceal the matter of the underground structure. After Klein finished listening quietly, he generated many guesses. He seemed relaxed, but in reality, he could attack at any time. How long had this been going on for? I don't know. There are many faces around me I don't know. How can I be sure that the remaining people also aren't in cahoots? I pretend not to notice anything. After trembling for a few years, I enticed them to do some drinking, sex, gambling, smoking marijuana, and all sorts of things that make me look like a piece of trash. They're finally relieved and no longer watching me. When I sold that house, whoosh, all of them left, with no idea where they went. No, they must still be monitoring me, preventing me from calling the police. Right, they aren't letting me call the police. He clearly has some mental issues. I have no idea if what he said is true or false. In his aura, the change in his mood colors adhere to logic. But what if he just feels that feels that he had let the old Viscount down and fantasized a whole sequence of events like this to find an excuse for it? Later, he would keep telling himself until he's utterly convinced. As a qualified keyboard warrior, Klein, who knew a little of everything, had seen a similar case or two. After thinking for a few seconds, what did these old people ask you? Yeah, he just seems like a kid who got dealt like the shittiest hand and just got fucked. I mean, I guess the shittiest hand would be if he was literally fucked as a child, but you guys get what I mean. God. That is gonna get me demonetized so quickly. Jesus. They asked me how the two old children of the Viscount died. They asked me what the abnormal behaviors of the old Viscount had over the years. I wasn't even 10. I don't know. Calm down. Please. Calm down. Klein lowered his left hand and attempted to confirm if the Baronet Pound knew of the underground structure. Time flew by as the questions and answer session ensued. Klein said in a hoarse voice, "You really don't seem to know anything. I'm very sorry to bother you, but it's time for me to leave." He stood up, bowed slightly, and appeared very well-mannered, and at the same time, the excitement and appearance of having a breakdown on Rafter Pound's face vanished. His light blue eyes became abnormally deep, as though he was examining something. He saw the intruder about to stand up straight. He immediately reverted back to his previous performance: grief, anger, madness. At that moment, a mysterious voice suddenly resounded in his ears. Crimson. Klein injected spirituality into a slumber charm and threw it at Rafter with his unarmed left hand. Amidst the crisp, crackling sound, a strong sense of serenity spread out, enveloping the baronet, causing him to shut his eyes and weakly fall into bed. I'm sorry. The questions from before are for the comparison of what shall ensue. Next, it's the process of entering your dream and spirit channeling. Klein patted Rafter's pajamas. With his hand on his chest, he made another bow. Then he used dream divination and entered Rafter's dreams like a nightmare. In the grey, fragmentary, constantly coruscating world, Klein soberly walked beside Rafter, watching him see the blank faces of the servants and maids who had no facial expressions as they gave off abnormal and frightening vibes. He saw Rafter turn his head only to see an old man slightly gazing at him, watching him curl up in the corner, shivering, and watching him enveloped by a shadow, little by little. This matches what he described. Klein tried to guide the dream to make sense of the situation. It was as though the baronet had a very serious psychological trauma over these matters, but any tiny bit of stimulation would cause him to scream and run like a madman in his dreams. This made it impossible for Klein to get any more information. Thus, he withdrew from the dream and cast another slumber charm on Rafter Pound, before taking a manta extract on other materials, in preparation to channel his spirit in a mediumship ritual. After responding to himself, Klein's spirituality passed through the storm of thoughts and saw the illusory image of Rafter, an illusory image based on the body of heart and mind. What did the old Viscount say to you before he died? Rafter Pound replied, he wanted me to maintain the family. What else? He wanted me to remember the glory of the ancestors. What were those people looking for? I don't know. Klein continued asking and comparing it to the answers he had said before, finally coming to the conclusion he had not lied, and what he had said was true. At this point, he didn't stay any longer, passed through the storm of thoughts, and extended his spirituality to return. Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Baronet. After doing this, Klein bowed once again. Then he turned, opened the window, and jumped into the street, disappearing into the night. After a while, Rafter Pound opened his eyes. Around those light blue eyes of his, there was a circle of ruptured capillaries. He flipped himself up and suddenly stared out at the open oriel window. After making a long detour to the East Borough, Klein washed his disguise and changed into his normal clothes, as though nothing had happened. He returned to 15 Minsk Street in Sherwood Borough. He didn't rest, nor did he think about what he should do with the structure. Instead, he once again entered the fog. At the very end of the table, he opened his palm, revealing several strands of brown hair. They were Rafter Pound's hair. He had gathered when Rafter Pound was sleeping. There's still the final step, confirming with divination above the grey fog. He wrote down the things he had already thought about beforehand. Rafter Pound's future. I want to see what will happen to you in the future so as to confirm the past. He leaned back and began to recite the divination statement. As the ancient structure involved the 6 other Orthodox gods, he was afraid there would be trouble if he divined something directly. So he changed his way of thinking and helped Rafter Pound ask about the future. Rafter Pound's future. And taking him like a yandere, yeah. Something like that, yeah. Hey, no one ever said Klein was mentally very healthy and totally believed in giving sufficient space and stuff. So fuck it, right? Who even cares at this point? Oh my god. Dude, I feel like we got through that chapter in like 10 minutes. That was crazy quick. What the fuck? Let's do this. Rafter Pound's future. Klein held onto the baronet's hair, closed his eyes, and entered a deep slumber with the help of cogitation. In the grey, gloomy world, he saw the narrow, irregular cave. Rafter Pound, with his puffy eye bags, and grey hair at his temples, was propping himself up on his elbows, crawling forward like a reptile to leave the hole. Chat was holding back. Then, with a flash, he retrieved a black iron emblem of unknown origins and word on his chest. The emblem had a spectre carved on it, as well as a hand that was holding up the spectre tightly. Tudor! Klein jerked out of his dreams and sat up. According to Miss Bodyguard's introduction, that was the coat of arms of the Tudor Empire. It was identical to the one found in the ancient structure. Rafter Pound is definitely not as simple as he seems to be. As a seer, he had his own interpretation of the revelation he had received from his dream. On the other hand, he knew it was something Rafter Pound would do in the future. And on the other hand, he believed that it meant that Rafter Pound had a deep connection with the Tudor family. I was doing my... yes. Glad you got it done. Through the 3 tests of direct questioning, dream probing, and spirit channeling, Rafter Pound didn't expose any problems, nor did he make me notice something was amiss. If I didn't have a 4th test, I might have been deceived by him. Yes, maybe. Maybe he really doesn't know anything, and that was a true act. In the future, he might just chance upon an opportunity to form a connection with the Tudor Empire. Have a good night, Chris. I appreciate you sticking for so long. We're almost done. We're like probably 15-20 more minutes until this chapter's done. But I appreciate you sticking on for so long, buddy. Have a good night. But it's more likely that he already learned a lot from the old Viscount. Without confidence, he intentionally turned decandent and acted crazy and ignorant. For him to be able to hide away from my dream and spirit channeling, it should be the result of some beyonder powers. He probably wasn't acting like that and was really in a muddled state. Otherwise, he would have exposed himself in front of a person like me who's very experienced. What beyonder powers could it be? What sequence is he? Or is he the kind that was born with a certain beyonder power? If he was, he'd be half a sequence. Well, I guess if his father was a high sequencer, then he could be anything, I guess. Klein proceeded with this line of thought and soon realized that he had reached a dead end. He quickly pulled himself out of the dead end and changed his angle of thinking. He has a deep connection with the Tudor family. Can I make a bold hypothesis that he's a descendant? If the blood relation between him and the old Viscount is real, then things are interesting. If the entire Pound family is a branch of the Tudor family that changed its surname to escape pursuit. They contributed tremendously and were conferred aristocratic titles, and they returned to the center of power, one step at a time. Meanwhile, they were secretly searching for secret remains left behind by the Tudor Empire in Backland. Genshin hate is a whole agenda. After an unknown period of time, they finally found something. Thus, they bought what currently belongs to Millet Carter's house and built an exaggerated basement which was used to explore the surrounding area. 30 to 40 years ago, they found the ruins and built a secret door. But during the exploration process, an accident occurred. That evil spirit didn't recognize one of the so-called Tudor descendants at all. The two heirs of the Viscount died in that room, in the deepest corner, one after another. Even their beyonder characteristics and mystical items couldn't be retrieved. Lore, yes. Though the old Viscount spent a great price to buy similar characteristics to make it seem like the two heirs died relatively normal deaths, the consecutive deaths made the royal household and churches suspicious. Therefore, after the old Viscount passed away and Rafter Pound deliberately exaggerated and distorted the secret investigations of the past to frighten himself into having mental problems, he began to engage in debauchery so as to avoid the attention of others. This can explain what previously puzzled me. How can a Viscount family be placed under the control of a mysterious person without any action from the royal household and churches? Even if controlling him was necessary, they would do it in a milder, undetectable manner. For example, using a faceless of my pathway. A child can even sense something abnormal, much less powerful beyonders of the royal household and 3 churches. The reason why they were unaware can only be explained by the fact that they were the ones who had sent those people. Ah, the plot thickens. Yes, back then I surmised that the Tudor family and the Truanst family grasped the Black Emperor pathways. So due to the need to act, they would establish dynasties to maintain the style and uniqueness of the Solomon Empire. At this point, Miss Bodyguard has indirectly proven it. Wait, hold on. The Black Emperor pathway is the lawyer pathway. So due to the need to act, they would establish dynasties to maintain the style and uniqueness of the Solomon Empire. Hold on, is Solomon a family or is that just an empire name? Hold. No, Solomon's also a family, I think. So what does that mean? To maintain the style and uniqueness of the Solomon Empire. The Black Emperor's pathway is sequence 9 Beyonder, or Tudor is a family name. Yes, but Solomon is also a family name, is it not? A Truanst is a family name, I know that one. But is Solomon not a family name? That's just like the name of an empire? Or like of a country, basically? The empire is Tudor Truanst. Oh. Ew, I see. Okay, thank you. The Black Pathway is Sequence 9 Lawyer. A Beyonder's job is extremely good at using order. It's a united empire ruled by 2 families. Okay. A Beyonder's job that is extremely good at using order. Yes, Rafter Pound was able to Deceived my dream in spirit channeling because of this. Perhaps he's gone one step further. He cooperated with me sufficiently, so he created a muddled state in his dream. He was able to subconsciously use the loophole of order and affect the development in the direction he wanted. Upon careful consideration, during the process of spirit channeling, Rafter Pound didn't seem to really lie, but his truth was only partially true. Maintain the family and remember the glory can refer to the Pound family, but also the Tudor family. Klein's train of thought became clearer and clearer, and he had an overall assessment of the situation. From Rafter Pound's current attitude, the evil spirit shouldn't be able to escape without any external help. Otherwise, the Baronet would long thought of a way to escape themselves. It doesn't matter if the spirit would come looking for him. As long as it escapes the seal and creates a disaster, the secret of the underground ruins would be exposed to the royal household and churches. When that happens, Rafter will definitely be implicated. The room opposite had collapsed, but it didn't affect the power that restricted the evil spirit. That means that as long as the innermost room isn't directly destroyed, the evil spirit would never be able to escape. The plan is clear. I would buy some explosives from Casper's and collapse the entrance so that no one can get in, leaving the evil spirit buried underground forever. When I'm powerful enough, I can consider finishing it off with the citizens of Backland and get rid of the latent danger and harvest some valuable items. However, how should I collapse it safely? I don't know. Maybe Casper's knows a demolitions expert? He's a black market weapons expert. Any thoughts about the lore here? No, but I guess it has some like big impacts because it means the Truonst family is also probably a big family in like Backland or maybe another city, but probably Backland just for story purposes. That's like trying to regain their lost power, but is known as like a different family now to escape the persecution, right? So I'm sure there's another big family that we're eventually going to hear about. Maybe one that didn't have quite this misfortune and managed to consolidate a lot of power under them in Backland. Yeah. Plus, it also tells me that there's obviously a clear way to, assuming that's the case, assuming there's the Truonst family exists in a relatively consolidated manner, and they have like their history relatively kept clear, we have a clear way of finding out the history of the fourth epoch, because they existed during that epoch, so they would be able to, shed a lot of light. They'd have the written records of it and stuff, so that would be handy. Yeah. Not much beyond that for the moment, anyway. Klein quickly finalized the plan and decided on finding Casper's tomorrow evening. Y'all have a great... Alright, have a good night, Unhinged. I appreciate you staying for so long, buddy. We should be done in like 15 minutes. Probably less at this point. He would try to settle the matter within a week. As for the true relationship between the Pound family and the Tudor family and Rafter's abnormality, he didn't want to press too deeply. It's none of my business, Klein grumbled. On Friday morning, Klein went out more early as usual and pretended to be busy. The truth is, he had once again gone to the Quelaag Club to practice his shooting and read the newspaper. He enjoyed himself quite a bit. Yeah, just about to end, Dr. Z. This is the last chapter, and we're almost at the end. The truth was that he had once again... At tea time, he was about to leave after staying there the entire day, but he was surprised to see Mary Gale, his former employer, and Talum Dumont, the equestrian teacher, enter the club at the same time. They were accompanied by a number of gentlemen in double-breasted frock coats and beautiful ladies. Among them was Mike Joseph. Detective Moriarty. What a coincidence. Klein smiled and replied, Mr. Reporter, are you done with your investigative methods? It's done. Thanks to your help. Let me do the introductions. This is the famous detective, Mr. Sherlock Moriarty, a good friend of Talum's. Mike waved his hand and said, After both sides greeted, Mike continued, I've roughly figured out who Capim is. I'll tell you in detail when I have the time. In short, I have every reason to believe that Cyber's death was caused by a copycat killer and not the serial killer. You'll see the news of my investigation tomorrow. It's just as I thought. Klein smiled. At that moment, Mike seemed to remember something and turned his head to Mary. I'll make an appointment with you for an interview regarding the air pollution situation in Backland and its solution. However, you have to communicate with my editor-in-chief to advance the final page in time. Mary's eyes lit up. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Why didn't I think of such a good idea? This is for the promotion of the National Atmospheric Pollution Council. Mike has a lot of experience after all. Although the Daily Observer isn't one of the best newspapers, its circulation is considerable. Did Mary suddenly come here today because of the other members of the House of Commons who are in the club? This type of private club is indeed suitable for politics and business. Before becoming faceless, he didn't want to get involved in high-level affairs such as this. Evening, in an apartment in Eastborough. After a busy day, Williams entered the small room he rented, intending to change a coat, get some money, and go to the pub for a drink. In the gloominess, he stopped putting on a coat. He saw a shadow standing in the window, its face completely obscured by the shadow. Who told you to look for Lanovis? The dark figure said in a low voice. William quickly put on his coat, gulped his saliva, and said, I have a friend, a bounty hunter. Bounty hunters referred to adventurers who used various bounty rewards as their main source of income. There were a lot of them in the Eastborough and Backland. Why did he suddenly start looking for Lanovis? This is a bounty that was offered a long time ago. The black figure was extremely tall. Step by step, he approached Williams. I don't know. Maybe she just wanted to attempt another bounty. Williams took a very tiny step back. Who is she? Gio Derecha. I don't know where she lives. Very good. Very honest. The black figure reached out and patted Williams' body. Without further ado, he walked towards the door. Williams secretly heaved a sigh of relief, believing that his rich experience in the underworld had helped him. Don't try to be brave when you shouldn't. At that moment, he saw the shadow snap its fingers. William's thoughts froze, and the body suddenly split into pieces. It'll really help you piece together the fourth epoch lore? Will do, Romero. Yeah, I'll do that now. I'll do that as soon as I finish. William's thoughts froze, and his body split into pieces, scattering in all directions, splattering the ground and walls with flesh and blood. Then the shadow broke the gas pipe. Amidst the sound of gas spewing from the pipes, he picked up William's candles and struck it against the wick. The black shadow left immediately. A few minutes later, the candle suddenly lit itself up. The explosion wiped everything. Jesus. Whew. Okay. Because that history you have to patch all together yourself, so most casual fans are confused about fourth epoch lore. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm just gonna do this bit. I'm just gonna copy paste that bit into my lore document. Best analogy for the fourth epoch is Game of Thrones. Alright, well that's good. Because Game of Thrones lore I only came to understand after I put, I don't know, fucking hours watching YouTube videos on it. But that also has a really good thing, because if that's the case, and a lot of casual fans don't understand it, when I finish the novel in like 9 months, we can make so many videos about it. I can get you guys to make sure I didn't fuck anything up. I mean, I'm gonna fuck shit up, but then you guys can help me correct stuff, and then we can make such cool content. Oh, that'll be so cool. As soon as I get my first full sequence, we're making a video on it, boys. But I don't. A fun fact: I am also a Lord of the Mysteries lore expert. Yeah, no shit, Ramiro. That wasn't unknown to anyone here. Everyone knows this. You really can make endless content with that. Exactly. And like cool content. I don't just care about making endless content. I care about making cool content. Exactly. That's all discuss. If you guys are interested, I'd be happy to do that. You're a Game of Thrones lore expert. Oh, that's very cool. Are you have you watched House of the Dragon? Have you? When you finish COI after 9 more months, we'll have even more content. Don't even joke about that. Okay, I can't. I don't think I'm gonna stream COI. We'll talk about it as I'm reading it, but I can't. I don't know if I can do this to myself again. This is crazy. Like, maybe I can read like every 50 chapters and we can talk about it or some shit. All the people in the 4th epoch could be their own character. I don't know, that's good. Well, then we can do endless content. This is great. We love this. All right, okay. It's fucking almost 2 o'clock. I did watch House of the Dragons. How'd you like it? I mean, I liked it. They fucked some shit up. Don't get me wrong, but so far it's been pretty good, man. Again, there's been some letdowns. There's been some confusing, stupid stuff that they've changed that they shouldn't have, but in general, it's been very good. Okay. On that note, I think we're going to leave it there, folks. It's almost 2 o'clock for me. I really want to go to bed. We're going to do another stream in like 12, maybe 13 hours, of course. As always, I'll give you guys a heads up. If you're not in the Discord, please consider joining. It's the link should be in my channel information. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. You hate the actor for Cregan Stark? Why? I liked him. I mean, we didn't see anything from him yet, but like he seemed pretty fine. He was a big, bulky ass dude carrying the giant ass sword. I can't remember the sword's name. Like, and he looked too much like a southerner. That's racist. I'm sorry. Most existing videos have so many mistakes they make me right. Well, yeah, that'll be like the really cool thing, right? Like if we're not northern looking enough. Like if I have you guys to lean on, then I can make like the script and then I can release it to you guys, not to everybody, but like a couple of you that are interested, and then you guys can let me know if I made some mistakes or like stuff I should add as more context, and then I can make the video and then we can hopefully do some cool shit from it. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Kind of win-win for everybody. You guys get good content. I make sure I'm not putting out slop, and hopefully don't get torn apart. I don't know. I get rage baited by Lord of the Mysteries lore videos. All right. So thank you so much, guys. Please don't be unfair to COI. I won't be. I promise. God, have a little faith. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. I will see you in like 12 or 13 hours. At least most of you. I'm sure the hours will be fucked for some of you, of course. And I hope to see you again. Thank you so much.